What's happening, everybody? Oh, do you know every fucking time you'd think now that I'd actually know what I'm doing. I've got all these buttons to click on here, and I fuck it up every time. Anyway, before I carry on waffling a load of shit, is first of all before I introduce the awesome dudes from the Low Life podcast, which actually I've actually got a message from someone earlier that said that they discovered me from listening. I think they're based in the UK. They discovered my show and discovered me through listening to the Low Life podcast from the UK as well, which is awesome. That's cool as fuck as well. So first of all, I'm just want to massive shout out to my sponsors and introduce a new sponsor, which I've added it here, Dethrone Clothing. I was lucky enough to interview Jamie back last year, season 1. Jamie's a cool one-man band making custom clothing inspired around the tattoo scene. And it's really cool. You can join Jamie quite often live on his TikTok channel where he's prepping all his orders, which is good. It's good to see that someone's not just farming the workout to somebody else, and just trying to make a little bit of money. Jamie sources all his blank clothing and then gets his designs. He works alongside some really cool tattooists in the UK. And yeah, so head over, check him out, www.dethroneclothing.co.uk. And also Silverback Cuts. Lucas is based over in Marbella in Spain, doing some custom clothing, which leather waistcoats, jewelry, biker style clothing. Check him out again, www.silverbackcuts.com. And I forgot the fucking name. And oh, fucking hell, my head's gone. Kold Skull Coffee. Yeah, it's like rocket fuel. www.koldskullcoffee.com. I hope that this doesn't really line up how this fucking podcast is going to go. I'm going to stop waffling and I'm going to introduce these two legends that I don't think need any introduction. Here we are. Let's have them. Fucking hell. Sorry,
what's up, man?
What's up, lads?
How we doing?
Great. I've been working on my English accent so I can make fun of your listeners today.
Jesus,
go for it.
But I keep on slipping into an Australian accent. I only know one English word, or English word is lads, right? That's what you call each other.
All right, lads. How we doing,
hey,
lads? All
lads,
right?
going to get a pint.
It sounds so much better when you guys say it, though. We can't say lad or mate. It doesn't sound right.
Yeah, is mate an English thing or is that an Australian thing?
That's an English thing as well. I think it comes. I think it really comes down to like which part of the UK, really. All right, mate. I don't know. Like I live up north, so like up here it's probably more so lad. Hey up, lad. How we doing? That's how Northerners talk.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I should know this. I watch all the Guy Ritchie movies, but
yeah, right.
But anyway, so I think I don't think you guys need an introduction, but however, for the people that don't know who you are, introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm Rhino. I am the now official co-host of the Low Life podcast. I've had two successors, but I joined, what was it, 2 years ago? A year and a half ago or something? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Right, like 2 years ago, I joined with Loctite. He was running the show. He was the one that invented the Low Life Chopper podcast. But then I took it over, and I invited my boy Danny. I said, we can keep this shit going if you join me. Otherwise, it's your fault that the show ends.
No shit. Yeah. I'm Dan. I am the occasional co-host of the Low Life podcast. Rhino asked me to join. I joined in October of this past year.
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and we're from New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Now, whereabouts is New Hampshire? Because someone was asking me the other day whereabouts you guys are based. Are you close to Canada?
Yes, we border Canada. We're up by Maine, so we border Maine, Canada, Massachusetts, Vermont, in the Atlantic Ocean. We got about 18 miles of coastline.
Yeah.
You don't actually get much of a riding season then, or do you get quite a decent season?
In New Hampshire, I would say our riding, I mean, you could ride now, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
Like there's people out on their bikes right now. Like from March, I would say, till you can ride in December if it doesn't snow.
Yeah. There's been a couple years where Christmas has come along or New Year's has come along, and it's either snowed prior and it's all melted, or most of it's melted off the roads or whatever, and we'll go out at a 50-degree day or something. But it's not enjoyable.
It definitely depends on how large your testicles are.
Yeah,
I mean, if you are a pussy, your riding season's from fucking bike week, Laconia Bike Week in mid-June, to like
September.
July. Yeah. And if you're actually about it, then you ride fucking March through at least November.
I was gonna say, you can still get some fairly comfortable rides in November.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's colder than fuck, but not bad.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of riding in the cold. I mean, I've done it. I did a whole like winter riding, like fucking foot clutch, hand shift, suicide shift, and no, not for me. I just don't feel like I got anything to prove. You know, it's fucking icy. It's cold. It's
definitely not comfortable. I mean, it depends on how far you're going, really. Because I used to, when I commuted to work, I'd commute on the bike,
right?
And you'd leave in the morning, and it'd be fucking 30 degrees out. So you're all bundled up, and you have your leather jacket on, your fucking hoodie, and your winter gloves and shit. That helps a little bit, but I mean that wind just tears right through you. Yeah. And if you're on for a 20-minute rip, no problem.
Right.
But if you're like, I had an hour commute to work, and about 30 minutes in, it's like, all right, can't feel my balls, can't feel my ass, can't feel my face, can't feel my fingers. Yeah. So yeah, it depends on how far you're going. But I would say our official riding season, where you can just comfortably ride, is definitely like, there's definitely great days in April. Yeah. Everybody's dusting off their bikes now. And you can definitely ride through the end of October. It doesn't snow until November usually.
Right.
See, we typically get like, it's fucking weird here. Like I would say typically we get like a good couple of weeks in September in the UK, because you just can't rely on the summer being decent. Like you can't rely on like fucking July, August. It just, I mean, if you want to ride, I mean, it's warm enough, probably warm enough from now. I mean, now the sun's out here and there's bikes out. But like for riding in the rain, I mean, obviously, like people like us, we're chopping bikes down and no front mud guard. Or do you guys call it a mud guard or a fender?
It's a fender.
Yeah,
fender. See, we call it a mud guard. It's fucking
makes sense.
So yeah,
it makes more sense than a fender.
Well, see, but you guys call you call on a front of a car, like you call it a fender. It's called a fender as well?
Yeah,
like
fender, quarter panel. But yeah, we have a
mud guard. Yeah, I don't think we use mud guard, but we have mud flaps.
Mud flaps, yeah.
So we have mud flaps as well. Yeah, we have mud flaps as well. See, a front fender on a car, typically in English, would be known as a front wing. Which obviously I don't know why they call it a wing, but a wing, like a WING, like a fucking flapping wing.
Huh.
Oh wow. I've never heard that. I know you guys call the trunk the boot.
Yeah, we call it a boot, and then we call the hood, we call it a bonnet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a bonnet and a boot.
I know all that from Top Gear and Grand Tour. That's my favorite show ever on television. So
what part's the bonnet? Is the bonnet the engine bay?
The hood.
Okay. Yeah.
The hood.
Yeah, and then an engine bay, we would just call it the same thing, an engine bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, isn't it? It's like
I know we're supposed to be speaking the same language. Oh, shit.
Well, it's like my youngest, obviously. I don't know if you guys have kids, but like my youngest, he's watches a lot of YouTube, and he'll call like a bin lorry, he'll call it a garbage truck. And sweets he'll call candy, so it's like because obviously a lot of the people
getting Americanized.
Americanized.
He'll get his green card, honestly, no problem.
Yeah. No, that'd be good. So anyway, instead of trying to teach people the differences between England and American spoken language, so at what point did the podcast, like, did you decide that you wanted to become a part of the podcast, Dan?
Yeah. So the short history of the podcast was, it was started by two fellas up here in New Hampshire, Grease and Loctite. They started it 6 years ago, or almost 6.5 years ago. And they were audio only. And Dan and I, they were really community centric, and they got a lot of local guys involved and really created a fucking chopper scene in New Hampshire where there wasn't one previously. Like, and we just, all of us, like me and Dan at the same time, we all kind of were just getting into choppers like a little bit later in life. Like we're in our 20s and, you know, then the podcast kind of created like a community where we'd come on the podcast and we'd go all the same shows and we'd know each other. And we just became really good friends. So Dan and I were really good friends, really close, came on the show all the time. We always went to all the shows together, always riding all the time. And then Grease stepped away to do some YouTube solo adventure. And Loctite, he wasn't done. He still wanted to do the show. So he approached me about doing it because I'd been on, and I guess people like it when I was on. So because I drink and say silly things. So I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'll come on. But on one condition, it's my show too, you know? So I was like, we're definitely doing video. I made like, you know, fucking video drops, and I took over the social media thing, you know, because they were never really big on the social media or any of the other stuff. And my day job, I've always been in tech. I'm not good at it whatsoever. I just kind of like fell into it. My brother hooked me up with a job, a little nepotism there, but I ended up I know enough about computers comparatively to the chopper guys in the community. So they look at me and they're like, dude, this guy's like Neo from the Matrix, because I can like create a Gmail account. So yeah, I took it. I started doing shows with Loctite, and we did, you know, the format of the show is basically we still try to really focus on garage builders, one-man shows, guys that are like building parts,
DIY.
Yeah, DIY stuff. We're very chopper centric, but we also like to talk to just people that are within that same community, leather workers, guys that, you know, like I said, they might not ride a chopper, but they make fucking points covers or whatever.
Tattoos,
yeah. And then Loctite had been doing it for fucking 6 years, and he was like, I think I'm done. You know, he's like, I think I said everything I needed to say. He had, you know, again, it's like when you're putting people like ask me like, do you have a full-time job? It's like, dude, this does not pay the bills. You know what I mean? Like, this is a hobby on the side. And he had some opportunities with new jobs and shit like that. And he was like, I just don't have the bandwidth to do it anymore. So he stepped away, and we kind of made the decision together. You know what I mean? I would go, you know, like, I'd like to keep it going because it was such an important part of my life. Like I said before, I got into choppers mad late in life, motorcycles mad late. So I'm making up for lost time, dude. Like, I didn't have those cool like campouts in my early 20s, dude. I'm like fucking in my 40s now, and I'm still just like so stoked on this shit that I'm like, there's lots of people I want to talk to, lots of people I want to meet, lots of things I want to say. So I kept it going, and I was like, you know, I approached Dan, I gave him a call, and it was actually funny because Dan thought we called them together, me and Loctite, because Loctite was like, if Dan does it, I'm fucking definitely retiring. You know what I mean? So we called Dan up, and Dan was like, what's up? And we started talking about like, would you like to do the show and all this? And Dan's like, you're really talking about this now? He thought we were recording on the show.
I thought they called me like they're doing like a live call-in type deal. And I was kind of being like, they were saying some shit.
Yeah.
And I was kind of being cagey about it. So I'm like, you want to say this right now while people are like, you're going to put this episode out? And I finally said something, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is a real conversation we're having.
It's it's just real. Just real talk, dog.
Yeah.
But then Dan was like, yeah, I can do it. He has, obviously, I'll let Dan say what he's been up to, but he has a lot of fucking fingers and a lot of different pies. So
you're going to say holes. You should have said holes.
Pie holes. So he was just, you know, agreed to do kind of like, a part-time capacity, you know? So yeah, since October, we've been doing it, and Dan tries to get on at least once a month where we can do shit. Whenever we can, we get on more. But other than that, you know, we do all sorts of, you know, we like to help as much as we can. Cause I guess I look at it, I come from a place where totally clueless, not a gearhead. My dad wasn't into bikes, you know, like my dad wasn't a gearhead. I didn't own any tools. I just learned everything I know now to be able to put choppers together, you know?
Right.
And when I was coming up, I didn't know anybody. You know, there wasn't a lot of content out there. The show really helped me like connect with people, like people that know how to paint, people that know how to weld. And I want to keep that going. That's the important thing to me, is like, if you're new to this shit, we need young guys to be into this shit, because we're going to be aged out in 10 years. You know what I mean? Our fucking backs are going to be too sore for hardtails. So I want to get people into this because it's such a cool culture, and it's worth keeping alive and keeping the right people into it. So we're kind of just like open arms. Like, you have questions, we're here for you. You know, I'm putting together a bunch of how-to videos and shit like that. Just to let people know, number one, it's like, you got people in your network, you know, like it's not like you don't need to meet a graybeard. Like, you don't need to know a 70-year-old man that was in the Hells Angels and grew up around fucking wrenching on bikes to get that knowledge anymore. You got the internet, you know, and we're not gatekeepers. I'll tell you anything you want. It's not a competitive thing. And that's what it's about. It's just like teaching people that, you know, like, I'm not a fucking professional bike builder by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I make a lot of mistakes. I just welded my fucking front and rear fork tube Springer legs together to make a bracket like a fucking idiot. But then someone pointed out to me, like, "Hey, you're an idiot," and I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm an idiot." Yeah, then you fix it, you know.
Right.
But the important thing to me is fucking do it. Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't make excuses like, I can't weld or I don't know how to paint. It's like, go fucking do it and fuck up. And through that journey, you will be able to do it, because at the end of the day, motorcycles is not rocket science.
No, not at all. They're tractors.
You will be able to do it, because a dumbass like me that doesn't come from like a mechanical background, who learned all this shit basically on the internet, you can fucking get it done, man. And you can get it done pretty well. And you're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So it's worth the journey.
For sure.
God damn, that was a soapbox.
Yeah.
Let me step down for a second.
It's a good rant.
No, but the thing is though, it's like you can just tell that you care about it, and it's crazy, like, to say like that on a different side of the on the other side of the world, but like the mindset's still the same. Is like, I'm exactly the same. Like, everything I've ever done, which isn't a lot, none of my content is ever how to. It's more so, and I've said this loads of times, but it's more so like, watch me attempt not to fuck up, you know. And I kind of feel like for me, with what I'm trying to do here, it's very similar to what you guys are doing, and also, like, a lot of it for me is like finding, like, within myself, it's like, none of this comes easy, you know. Like, I struggle in front of the camera, I get stuck in my head, I get in a negative place, you know, I start overthinking shit, and then and this kind of helps. Like, it's not easy, like, you know, like I said last time when I was on your show, was like, I don't get like loads of views and things like that, but I carry on, and it's almost like I'm doing it for a reason, you know. I really believe in something bigger with this, you know. It's like I'm having a website built, which is going to become like a social, like a network, like a social media network. And I said to the guy that's building it with me, or who's building it, I said, look, that I want it to get to the stage where people don't even know who I am. You know, like, it's become so beneficial to people that they can, because, like, for example, if you, like, especially with the old bikes, like, you're looking for an old part, unless you're on the group pages, and it's hard to find whether someone's got that part. So, like, the idea is that you're going to be able to go on there and just go to the classified ad section, see what people are selling secondhand, and then go across and click on the section where there's have you got, and then you can put in I need a transmission for, you know, whatever, and it will send a notification out to everybody. So it's kind of like Chopper Swapper, but more so the respect that you haven't got to rely on being on it straight away, you know, to find these parts. And like people are going to get notifications, and you're going to be able to write blogs. You're going to be able to promote your own businesses, and it's very much, I feel it's very much going to become what everybody loves of social media, all the best bits, but without having to filter through all the bullshit of people's dinner, people's drama. You know, it's literally a culture, like, it's our culture on our social, and that's how I feel I'm going to create a business. And you know, and I'm trying to learn all this, you know, as well as trying to create shit with my bikes and a full-time job. I think when I was lucky enough to be on your show, I was literally saying bye and getting dressed to go and do a 12-hour night shift. You know, it's like trying to, you know, I don't know, and just trying to keep it real, really.
Yeah. No, I think it's just important to do, like, you know, the thing is like, when you make content and shit, there's nowhere more toxic than fucking social media. And you know, like, but I found it's been mostly positive stuff, you know, like people complain about this and that, like, oh, your audio quality is fucked up this week. But it's like, if you let that affect you, then you will get disparaged and you'll be like, oh, fuck it, you know? But I try not to look at like the analytics of it and like how many people are listening this week. And, you know, but I do that to see like, what do people actually want to hear about, you know, because some people are very, you know, you'll have your people that are like, they're your fans, and they interact with you every week, you know, and they're like, every single week, they're like, bang up episode, or like, yo, that guy sucked, you know, or fucking whatever it is, you know. And it's good to get feedback, because then you're like, those are the people that are most invested in your show, and you want to hear from them. So there's a way to do it. Just like, you know, don't be like mean about it, you know what I mean? Because this is something free that I'm giving you, for fuck's sake. Yeah. And I put my heart and soul into it, and fucking hours and hours of my life every week. But it's good, because then it's like, you know, I don't know what fucking I know what I want to hear, you know, I know what I listen to, but it's so important to have this type of content out there, because, dude, I can count on like one hand how many fucking motorcycle shows there are. Like how many podcasts that are palatable, right? You know, like there's plenty of fucking like really lame ones with like old dudes that just talk about their fucking street glides and shit. But like an actual cool one about like choppers or custom building. And that's like niche shit, dude. There's not a lot of people doing that. Yeah. And even the people that do that, not everybody that we hang out with listens to our show either.
Not even remotely. Yeah.
No. And like, I fucking hang out with you, dude. You don't even fucking like us.
I mean, I don't know about, I mean, I don't know, obviously, like the type of audience and how they listen. I mean, like, for example, I find that most people that do listen to my show is that they listen to it in the car, or they listen to it in the background in their shed or their garage, you know, which, to be honest, I think that's kind of the idea. Like, that's how I like it. I like the fact that no one's really taking it that serious, and it's just in the background, stuff they can relate to, which I think is really cool. Like, for me, I just realized that, like, I'm not building shit tons of bikes, and I don't have a massive fancy garage to be doing loads of cool shit. So I figured that reaching out, originally doing the podcast to try and, similar like yourselves, was just trying to find like people that kind of don't have the limelight on them, you know, like trying to show the rest of the world these guys that are, and also that are like nervous, you know, like everything I do is like trying to like everything's just trying to keep it real, like it's what it means to me, and like the idea of helping somebody feel the confidence of going on and doing their own live stream, or like helping themselves build their own business on social media and getting more confident in front of the camera and shit like that. You know, it's very much way bigger than just this culture in some respect, but also it's, you know, I don't go interviewing like fitness freaks, but if they're heavily tattooed and ride a bike, then I want to hear their story, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a very outgoing guy. Like, you might not understand, like, listening to the show and shit, you might be like, this guy fucking never shuts the fuck up. But when I'm out, dude, I don't talk much. I'm kind of like old school like that shit. Like, I'm just kind of like, you know, I don't know. I like to observe, and I like to listen. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then once you put a mic and a camera in my face, I'll fucking talk. Yeah. You know?
I'm more so topic dependent. If we're talking about something that I personally geek out about, I'll talk all fucking day. You can't shut me up. But when it's like interviews and stuff like that, I'm still getting comfortable with stuff like this. Yeah. So most of the time I just let Rhino do the talking as far as that stuff is concerned, but he's a lot better at it than I am. So yeah, it's weird doing a podcast as somebody who's not a social butterfly.
Yeah. Are you getting questions from people in the audience right now? Did I just see something pop up?
Yeah, so that's my dad dropped a comment. He said, "Oh, listen, because I have been told to." So I told him he had to listen.
Got to support your son, bud.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he listens to most of them. That's really where that's where the love of bikes came for me, and very much so, like building stuff with what you've got. You know, like we never had, like, you know, growing up, my dad didn't have like money to buy a Harley and things like that. He owns a Harley now, but like it was always like old junk bikes that he would strip down and make them cool, and you know, and things like that. And yeah, so that's where the bikes come from for me, and also like the MC culture side of things is again come from my dad, and that's you know, we've had some fun over the years, and like we bought, so I built my first bike when I was 15. I built a 1983 Suzuki GP 125. It's, you know, it's not a very popular model of bike, but like I lived next door to a Spanish copper, and growing up in Spain at the time, like I had no paperwork for the bike, no insurance, no license, nothing. I built this bike next door to a police officer who also liked bikes and used to come in and have a look at it. And it was also on an English number plate, which straight away was illegal anyway, like especially when you lived there full time. And I jumped on this bike and set off to ride to Portugal, which was about a 5-hour ride, never ridden on the road. Do you know what I mean? Like, but the point awesome. is like, mate, it's so fucking cool because like I was riding a bike next to my dad. Like I'm fully illegal, like fucking living this rebel to society life, which really is like where the whole 666 comes in. Is like, it's like middle finger to society type of vibe, you know, like fuck, like fuck the average Joe. Like who says you have to do it this way?
Sure.
And
that's a big,
you know
that's a huge part of
it's,
the motorcycle community at large, but definitely the chopper community. Nobody I know has a valid bike that's allowed to be on the roadways. No, you know, like that choppers just don't pass the sniff test.
Right.
You got inspections and shit, but that's what I love about it too. Cause I'm just like, fuck the fucking cops, and I'm going to do what I want. I'm born a goddamn free man. I'm going to have the wind in my face. I'm going to put this bike together. I'm going to die on it if I didn't do something right. And it's my fucking fault. I have no one to blame, you know?
Yeah.
But that's part of the appeal to me. It's just like mild misdemeanors, so like all day long, you know, fucking drink that beer on your way home from work, you know, like you're not hurting it. You're not going to be plowing over kids and shit. Yeah. That's illegal, but it shouldn't be, you know? So fuck them. Don't live by their fucking rules, you know?
Yeah, man. It's funny we're talking about this. Just kind of hood rat shit in general. Like, but just so happened on my way here today, I didn't even tell you this yet. I get on the highway. I'm about 40 minutes or so from Rhino. So I get on the highway. As soon as I merge on the highway, it's all these like Euro tuner cars and stuff, right? It's all lowered, slammed, like that whole deal. And I noticed they've got a camera car. Like they were doing like a rolling takeover type deal. So they had camera cars and they had people blocking for them and shit on 93. And then I followed them. At first they were pissing me off because they were going like 10 under the speed limit, blocking the whole fucking highway. And I was like, ugh, because I hate that. But once we got on to 89, they fucking beat feet. And I was like, cool, let's go. So I found out my truck does 120 miles an hour today. But I like jumped in with them and was like running blocks for them and shit. There was guys coming up from behind. It was fun. Like I was smiling at them, rolled the windows down and shit. It was really cool. And it obviously I'm not into like the Euro tuner scene or anything. Yeah. And most of those guys over here, I don't know about over there, but for the most part, no offense to anybody, but the guys that are really into the tuner shit here are like the Subaru Vape Life, like fucking dorks, you know what I mean? Like,
I vape and I have a Subaru.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like they've made an entire culture based around a smoking device. You know what I mean? So it's they're not necessarily
as long as they're breaking the law.
Yeah, dude, you're breaking the law. I'm down.
And you're doing dangerous shit on the roadway, you know, without permission. That's cool.
They're cutting it up and everything. It was really cool. So that's the kind of shit that gets us amped up.
One time, like on my road on 114, I was like going to the dump or something, and there were some stunty boys, dude. They're going 12 o'clock. They're fucking smoking the tires and shit. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Just not my thing, but it's still cool as fuck.
Hooliganism is the best.
Yeah.
In general.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had like where in one of the villages I lived in, there was this. So Spain used to be able to ride a 50cc at 14 years old, like on the road, but the law was that it wasn't allowed to do more than 35 mile an hour. So like obviously you'd put a big bore kit on it, 74cc big bore kit, you know, all big expansion chamber, 2-stroke, and these things are topping out like 80, 90 mile an hour. And we're sat in the garden and we can hear this bah, bah, like up and down these lanes, and then all of a sudden you hear like and me and my dad come out and stand on the street and they go past us and we're like, yes, go on, lad.
Yeah.
Bro, I love watching.
So-
My favorite videos are people fucking with cops at traffic stops, or the motorcycles that when they try to get pulled over, they just go zoom,
the
and
leader
they just
bikes
like
and stuff.
take the fuck off.
Oh man, that Street Fighter stuff is the best.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Dude, because the cops can't catch up.
hell no. And like even like the people like you see the Corvettes and shit or the GTRs or whatever, and they have the switch on it. So as soon as they see blues, they turn off all the lights and just completely disappear into blackness.
Oh, dude.
Like that is the most badass Batman shit ever. I love that.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
On a bike, dude. You're running for the
and
cops. You're fucking nutbag, dude.
You've never run?
I've never run. No.
Oh, really?
On a chopper, dude?
I've never run on a chopper.
Yeah, if I had like these guys have
I don't
sport
think-
bikes that go 200 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
right. True.
They're like Isle of Man shit. You know, they're like.
Yeah, I used to outrun the dairy cops on my sports pretty frequently
No
before
shit.
I chopped it. Yeah, I would literally. There was one in particular that I'll never forget. I was leaving my buddy Owen's house, and he lived on this crazy windy, like perfect riding road in Derry. So I was cutting it up a little bit, and this dude fucking lit me up, and he got behind me. I did the same thing. I shut off my lights, and I happened to see coming up. There was a little bit of a clearing, and this person just had, this is at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. The person had their garage door wide open. So I was like, fuck it. Clicked it into neutral, shut the bike off and coasted it, pulled it right into their driveway in between their two cars. The cop went past.
Oh, sick, dude.
And then the fucking
that's
garage
awesome.
light turned on and I was like, shit, and fucking backed it out of there. And got out. It was like, this dude's going to come out with a fucking gun. But yeah, I've never like full blown, like got into a chase on a bike. Cause yeah, I don't own motorcycles that would outrun cops.
I'm always surprised when I get pulled over because I'm like, I almost always get pulled over for the inspection.
I've never.
Dude,
it's crazy.
New Hampshire's getting rid of that.
I know.
That's going to be fucking sick, dude.
It is, yeah.
But I get pulled over all the time. If you don't have an inspection sticker, basically every year in New Hampshire, you have to take your vehicles after you register them and fucking they go through it and they have a checklist of things.
Yeah.
Like you need blinkers,
same
you need
here.
all that fucking stupid shit.
Yeah, safety.
Yeah. And on choppers, that has no safety devices, you know, and they don't pass inspections, so nobody has them. And they're about the size of a little tiny stamp. They're like maybe 1 by 1 on your front fork. I get pulled over at least 3 times a year for that reason.
Crazy.
Yeah. I live in I
Fucking-
have to go through a bunch of small towns, so they got nothing to do.
Well, I tell you what. So in Spain they have the same thing over there. It's called an ITV, but they have to have a sticker in the window. Now, we had a car that wasn't completely legal, and I remember coming home one night with my dad. I see this car like smashed up on the side of the road, and it was only about a 20-minute walk from my house. And I said, we got home. I said to Dad, I said, I'm gonna go see if that car's got an inspection sticker in it. And I climb in this totaled car on the side of the road, and I'm sat there peeling this sticker out the window so we can stick it in our car. It's like, yep, we got an inspection sticker for a year now. It's like living next door to a Spanish copper, you know, it's Spanish police officer. Is like, fuck, you know.
That's awesome.
It's funny as fuck.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. I'd run
that's it, right?
My buddy had a fucking, he forged one himself, like really shittily.
Yeah.
And that gets you in a lot of trouble, dude.
Yeah, that's like
you got pulled over with that shit, and the cop took one look at it and was like, you made that by hand.
going to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a pretty serious charge, like falsifying government
I
documents.
think it's like a B felony or something.
Yeah, it
it's
was a
actually pretty
felony.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah, he got fucked.
Yeah.
Don't
you can
do
go to
that.
fucking prison.
It's
for that
better
shit.
just to not have it.
Yeah.
And then just go and fight it in court, and they'll usually throw it out.
So, like, because obviously, obviously over there, like in America, you guys have got like different, like some places you can lane split, and you don't have to wear a crash helmet. Like, obviously, that stuff can, and they're quite strict over there with all that stuff. Then,
In New Hampshire, we're pretty good. Like our state motto is live free or die. So there's no seatbelt laws, no helmet laws.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you don't need insurance. It's not, you can legally drive without car or motorcycle insurance. So pretty dope, but you can't lane split.
No.
And I probably wouldn't, because New Hampshire is not like, we don't have long open highways where you can just like go. But yeah, there's some states like California, you can lane split, but you can't buy any like fucking exhaust from like a lot of the chemicals and shit. Like they won't even ship them there. There's like a little asterisk on any aftermarket part that was like cannot be sold to California.
Yeah. Their emission standards are crazy, but
yeah,
there are some, it's weird. And then there's places like Florida that are, we're live free or die. They're even more live free or die. Like you can do whatever the fuck you want in Florida.
Yeah, you can ride an alligator to work.
Yeah, and they don't give a shit. So as far as I know, they don't have helmet or any of that other stuff either.
Yeah, and you don't have to inspect your car down there either. Because I used to live down in Florida. It was sick. You'd just, whatever jalopy you could get going, you just fucking hop in and go.
Yeah, for sure.
So see, over here, like anything over 40 years old, like it becomes like inspection and road tax exempt. So we have road tax as well, and like I think anything over 5 liter is, I think it's like £700 onwards, which is still about $400-500, you know, like for the year, just to drive something. And the roads here are fucking terrible. Like, it's. Like you want to ride into London. I think they even tried banning bikes in London. I mean, there was a lot of bikers that went down there and like protested around like House of Parliament and that, because like London has a massive history with bikes. You know, like we recently got asked a question on the other show, was like, does the UK have its own custom scene, or is it copying America and Japan, for example? Because obviously Japan are quite heavy in their scene as well, and it's like, well, I said to him, I was like, well, the cafe racer originates from the UK, you know, the ways like greasers, you know, the Lewis leather, you know, the rocker jackets with riding, you know, from cafe to cafe. It's like that, you know, even though America's taken it and made it massive, and so is Japan, but it is actually originally a UK scene, you know. Like the old Triumphs, Nortons, and BSAs.
BSA, yeah,
sure. Yeah, I actually just sold a Triumph yesterday. I had a 76 Triumph Bonneville 750. Sold that.
Nice.
I didn't want to buy all the tools.
It's for real. That's the only problem with that.
It was cool as shit, though, dude. It was like I wouldn't say it was a Survivor. I think it was probably a Survivor that someone like updated, or something like that, because there's some old bits on it. But I'm a Harley guy. I'm not interested in any of the metric stuff anymore. I've had innumerable Hondas and Yamahas, but what I found out about myself is just like, I just love Harley engines. I just love working on the Harleys. And once you get a skill set for that, like I spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours working on like my Sportster, you know what I mean? Now I know if I get a Sportster, I can do anything to it that I need to do, you know, like you've already built the skill set up. I know everything about that Sportster and all the other various models of Sportsters in that range. And same thing with like Shovelhead. I did a Shovelhead a few years back, and it was like, now I can work on any Shovelhead. Like now I know how this thing works. So for me, I'm like, I'm getting rid of all my metric tools.
Yeah.
I'm just going to focus on this. I can't be buying fucking XS 650s because I'm just not, what it is I'm just stoked on certain things. You know what I mean? And if you're stoked on a fucking XS, and there's dudes that like their thing is XS 650s and they're not interested in the Harleys, you know, and
Indian or
whatever. And a lot of it has to do probably with their skill set. Like that maybe it was their first bike and they fell in love with it. And everybody has their thing. And I'm not hating on anything either, because it's like, dude, I've seen fucking Hondas and fucking shit that's just like, we're talking, I think last week, about like those Indonesian builders. Oh, they have like 125s that they just chop up and they look like, they look sick as fuck and they're wild as hell.
Yeah.
It's just, my whole thing is like, personally, just find a bike that you're stoked on. Like if you're not stoked on a bike, you're not going to put in all the hours required to make it cool and make it rideable, you know? So don't try to force it, you know, like if you want a Shovelhead, get a Shovelhead, save your pennies, flip, steal, borrow, whatever you have to do, get the bike that you want, and then pour your heart and soul into it, you know, because that's what it takes to get a fucking bike done.
Yeah. Don't settle.
Yeah. And that's like, so like obviously like the XSs, for example, like they used to be a cheap bike, and like now they're, I mean, in the UK, a starting price for an XS 650 is £3,500, which whatever that is in, you know, let's say $3,000. Yeah, right, exactly right. Because I got a friend in Canada, so and he was surprised. So he was like on whatever website it was in Canada saying like, look, and he sent me screenshots of it. He's like, you can get a on the road XS650 like 1,500 Canadian bucks, you know, like, and that's a cheap one, you know. And the reason we were having this conversation was, I think I mentioned on your show about the budget biker build off that we're doing, and because like people would think, you know, like this guy in Canada was like, I've got an XX650 that I built, and that would qualify, and I'm like, but it won't qualify in England, you know. That's like I know we said last time, like Harleys are expensive in the UK because I mean, I think you could possibly get an Ironhead, maybe $1,500, £1,500 maybe. But like Sportsters, if you're lucky, you'll get a decent one for about $3,000. Like the last of the 48s are about £7,000, £8,000.
Oh shit!
It's crazy because I was talking to my dad about this. My dad's got a 1450. I can't what model. I keep calling it a Heritage. It's not, but the fact is like you can buy a 1450 twin cam cheaper than an 883 Sportster.
That's crazy, dude.
That's wild.
Yeah, Sportsters are the new Ironheads, dude. You can pick them up $1,500, $1,000 all day long now.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Same with XS650s. Not that I look into them, but from my memory, you can get an XS650 that probably is like a bit of a basket case for like $700, $800.
Yeah, I got one that was hardtail frame, $500.
Yeah, they're
with
pretty
all
cheap
with
around
all
here.
the
awesome.
with all the shit too, the capacitor and all the fucking fun shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're still mad cheap. Triumphs have come down a lot though.
Yeah.
Because I wanted a Triumph for probably like 5 years
expensive
ago.
here.
Yeah, $5,000 or whatever. Because there's a lot of resto guys into them. But yeah, dude, $1,500, $2,500 for a Triumph.
Yeah.
See, cheap bikes here are like inline four. So like your Suzuki Bandit 600s. I don't know if I guess you probably get a Bandit 600 there. You can pick up a 600 Bandit for less than £1,000. But I think since COVID, I don't know what the market's like in America, but since COVID, prices just rocketed because people obviously wanted to build bikes at home or learn how to build a bike, and the prices just haven't really dropped. I mean, you know.
Well, the thing is too is like, dude, New England's kind of expensive for bikes. So like New England, we're up.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of little states up in the Northeast, and they're all small enough that it would probably constitute like one state down south. But like if you go to like large states with not large populations, like if you're in the Midwest or like California's fucking huge and there's very remote areas, you can get cheap fucking barn finds, dude. There's still guys they drive from California to Illinois to pick up a panhead, you know, because it's worth the fucking smoke to get out there, because California bikes cost a shit ton if you're in fucking LA or if you're in fucking one of those metropolitan areas. You go out to the Midwest or like down here, I'm on fucking Facebook Marketplace looking at bullshit every day. And it's like, oh shit, that's in upstate New York, or that's in fucking Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, Ohio,
a fraction
Jersey.
of the price. Yeah.
Those are the hot spots around here. You got to go out of New England.
Yeah. So we're expensive. These prices are expensive up here.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about this last time. Like my friend's got he's having a panhead built, and he's got I can't remember, Andrew's cases on it. So he's got Andrew cases, and he's got a 4-speed ratchet top gearbox, and gearbox and engine with the refurb. Like, so it had to get like overhauled. It's like £12,000 in engine and gearbox alone. Like, so let's say $10,000, like just engine and gearbox.
Nuts.
You know,
dude. I mean, for a good ratchet top, dude, $3,000 easy here. You know, like someone refurbished it, I bet someone would sell a ratchet top for fucking $5,000.
Yeah, $4,500, $5,000 for sure.
So the price
you
is
can
not
get a
much
piece of
different
shit
then,
with broken teeth and a cracked for fucking $1,500 though.
Yeah,
just replace the guts.
Yeah,
because like a lot of people like to put a 5-speed cartridge inside them, don't they? To make them a 5.
Yeah, they have Andrews.
Andrews
has the
Baker.
Baker. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
Baker, 4 and a 5 and a 4.
Yeah, they've got 6 and a 4, but those are like
they
to
have
get
a 6
one
and
of
a
those.
4?
Yeah, they have a 6 and a 4. The 6 and a 4 by Baker is like $7,000.
You don't even need that shit, though.
It's crazy. That's like
drag racing shit.
Yeah,
like
that's that's either show bike or performance bike shit.
Yeah.
You don't need to put that on a fucking
Evo.
Evo.
Our buddy out in
Or even
Arizona,
Tahoe.
Kenny's House of Power, we're going to be interviewing him again soon. He's moving to a new shop, but he does drag bike shit, and he uses old Harley shit.
Yeah.
He uses ratchet tops, and he's going like, I don't know much about drag bike racing and shit, but this motherfucker is hauling ass.
Oh, yeah.
And he's sending pistons through heads and shit. Like, it's hardcore shit, but he does the old shovel head shit to build these like fucking insane fucking powerhouse fucking motors and shit.
Yeah. You can get a lot out of them.
That's awesome.
The Harley stuff is all under engineered for guys like us that are just home gamer stuff. That, for one, it's accessible here. For two, it's the lore behind Harley. It's the biggest motorcycle manufacturer in the world, and whatever. So there's a little bit of that brand loyalty stuff that comes into it, but they're under engineered. So you don't have to be super mechanically minded to work on these things. Once you open up an Evolution Sportster, you're like, wow, there's not a lot going on in here. So it's just the accessibility and the fact that like you can be pretty dumb. And
the older the bike too, like an Evo, like I had an 03 Evo, and I'm like, oh well, they got some electronic stuff that goes, like the Vos and shit. But once you get into like shovel heads, dude, it's all mechanical. It's like if you pull this thing moves that. Right. So you can figure it out. It's not a Rube Goldberg machine, you know what I mean? Like you can fucking figure it out pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with the fucking hell. So like, because like obviously it's all gears, isn't it? Like all gear driven in the bottom end, like from the crank to the obviously to the part that operates the cam, and everything on them is all gear driven. But there's like what, like 10 gear sprockets in the bottom of a shovel.
In a shovel head, they got 4 gears in it. I actually rebuilt a ratchet top shovel head for mine, and everybody was like, "Don't do it. If it works, don't do it, dude." And I just did it for funsies, dude, and it was not that complicated.
Yeah,
it's like gears. They only go in one way. I mean, it's a pain in the ass because there's like this one C clip on like the 3rd gear. But other than that, dude, it's fucking you. Once you take it apart and you put it back together, you know exactly what's happening in it. And if that's what I wanted to do, is like, I don't have to take this thing apart, but I wanted to take it apart so I knew how the fuck it worked. So if something broke, I would know what broke on it. You know?
Right.
Yeah. No, but I mean on the timing side. Sorry, I meant on the timing side, not the actual gearbox. Because like, obviously, when you take the timing cover off, you've got like loads of little sprockets, haven't you? That come up, that run off the crank, operate like the oil pump,
cam gear.
The cam gear, sorry, yeah.
Cam gear connects right to the crankshaft.
Yeah, I haven't done a bottom end on those things yet.
That's
you
not home gamer shit.
You kind of need to. That's a different, like top end, no problem.
Yeah,
top end, no problem. If you're doing like crank up, like you need to know a machinist or like know how to do that shit.
Yeah,
because that's where the tolerances and like the bushings and stuff really matter.
You got to fit the cases together. You have to true the flywheel. Yeah. I mean, you can buy you can just go on wherever and buy, a brand new Jim's flywheel and stick that in. But if you're like,
if you don't have money and you're trying to do it like,
I had an old shovel head. It was just the motor and it was empty. It needed the bottom end. It needed basically the whole top end and everything else that came with it. And pricing it out to have it all done and fixed and whatever else, whether I did it myself or sent it to somebody else, was going to be over $3,000. And
wow,
you can get you can find, if you're looking real hard, you can find a riding old shovel head for $3,000.
Yeah,
that's just not worth it. Yeah.
It wasn't wired, it didn't run, but I mean, it was all there. Like drivetrain. If you want like shovel engine, ratchet top transmission is the more desirable one. If you're, because most people, they're building a chopper, they want to do jockey shift or whatever. Yeah. It's simpler than the cow pie. But yeah, they're out there.
V-Twin makes a kit now. You can put a ratchet on a cow pie,
like just the top.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
You can put a ratchet top on a cow pie transmission.
I know there's some way to hack it and drill it out or whatever, but like they have a kit. That's cool.
V-Twin makes a kit. Yeah, Chris told me about that a couple weeks ago.
No shit.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
I think I think is it Ledsled Customs. They do a kit for the Sportster to turn it to Kickstart as well, don't they? Like the Evo Sportsters.
Prism. I think Prism Supply does.
Prism do it as well.
Right. Yeah. They've got a kicker kit for sporty now. They've got foot clutch jockey shift for sporty now. Like, that stuff that's coming out is really cool.
Mm. Yeah. See, I just made my own. Like, I just made. I mean, I know on your show I spoke about my 125cc bobber that I'm building because at first when I said 125, you thought it was a big V twin. Yeah. So I have 125cc. Kind of going on to what you said about the Indonesian guys, like in England, like no one's really fucking around trying to do crazy shit with the 125s, especially like the push rod, like. Honda, because effectively they're based on a Honda CG engine, Honda CG 125cc, but like I can get like a 350cc big kit from AliExpress for like £40 and that's the barrel piston, gaskets, everything, right? And like everyone that I'm telling that I'm gonna document the whole build on my YouTube channel. All the people that know engines a lot better than me, like their reactions are like, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, they're like shocked. And I'm like, that's exactly the reaction that I'm looking for because I know it works because I know the guys in Indonesia and the South Americans, like some of these little countries down there, you know, they're doing it. And like, I really think it's going to work. I don't know how long for. The idea of doing like a 350cc big bore kit off of 125cc with a foot clutch hand shifter, you know, like this, I've got like solid bars where I've taken out the rear shocks and, you know, I've got little like miniature ape hangers and like, I just want to see, I'm going to take the crank out. I'm going to get it like knife edged, lightened and balanced and all rebuilt and everything. But the idea is just like to show that on a really tight budget, you can still, you know, and with the help of people that know how to machine, that you can still get this shit to work, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you want to save money on a build, it's like build most of the stuff yourself. Like guys like, you know, like I love it. Like big money, but quality stuff like Builtwell, Prism Supply, guys like that. Everything costs $100. You know, you want a fucking choke relocation knob for your fucking CV. It's $100, you know, because it's made in America and it's made by guys. They've fucking done the research and it's rock solid, you know. But if you want to build a chopper and you don't want to fucking drain the bank and have the wife stab you to death in front of the children, then you're going to have to fabricate parts, you know, you're going to have to figure stuff out and reuse stuff too. You know, like I just did foot controls on, I'm doing a Softail build and,
I've seen it. Yeah.
I just sacrificed a little fucking for the shifter, you know, the end of it that's on the splines or whatever. I forget what it's called. But you just like cut that off and then you can make the rest of it, you know? I don't have a lathe.
Oh, so you're doing a hand shifter. You're doing a hand shifter off the spline as well then?
I'm not doing a hand shifter on this one. I'm just doing a foot shift. But I did, instead of I got some twisted stock, shout out Steel City Blacksmith, and he sent me some scraps. I made some foot controls, some pegs and shit.
I saw that podcast, man. I saw that last podcast you did with him, and like the hammers and that he does, man. This shit is insane, man. It's so
cool.
Yeah,
we just pulled that last week. Lex, yeah, let's show it again. This thing's so fucking awesome, dude. Stainless steel twisted ball peen. I got a tomahawk I'm putting on the Softail so I can knock off people's mirrors that fuck with me. I gotta learn how to throw that thing. I gotta go to one of those axe throwing bars, you know. Get really good at throwing that thing.
Yeah.
I had one of my friends, my old work colleague. He was really good machinist. He used to be a tool maker by trade, so we used to make like injection molding tools, you know. And he made me a knuckle buster that actually slid onto the end of the kickstart, so I could actually use it as a kickstart, and it had like little grub pins in it with ball bearings, so it sat. It'd slide on and you could still spin it, right? And to anybody that didn't know, it looked like a kickstart, but it worked. You know, I wanted it, so if I had to use it. And also he instead of it being round knuckles, he machined them to a sharp point. And it's fucking sick.
That's badass. I like that.
Dude, yeah, imagine though if that thing kicks back on your shin.
Oof.
Dude, when I was timing the shovel head, I could not get. I did points at first, and I had way too big a carb with a velocity stack, and then a point system that I probably fucked up. And that thing used to kick back on me when I was kicking it over, dude. That I actually switched. I had a metal kicker on it, but it was doing too much goddamn damage to my shin, so I had to go fucking swap it out with a rubber one.
Yeah.
Imagine that, dude. A kicking back with spiked brass knuckles into your shin.
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
I'd make goddamn sure I timed that thing right.
Yeah.
That's fucking. It's insane. So I think if I'm right, Dano, you're a custom painter. Is that right? I think listening to the podcast of.
He's a custom painter. Yeah, one of the greatest in the Northeast.
I do. I do paint in the shed as like a hobby. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my paint thing's called No Luck Paintworks.
Yeah, I think I'm sure I follow you on Instagram. I know I do, because I think listening to one of the podcasts where it was mentioned about you had like 4 or 5 projects lined up before the summer, and you have because you're building a shovel. Is that right? You're building a shovel?
Right now, I'm doing an Evo and a panhead.
Right, sorry, right, I got it wrong.
And he's being extremely humble, guys. He paints everybody's bikes that lives in the Northeast.
Homies,
everybody. We're homies with everybody.
Yeah, for sure. But no, there's a ton of other like real deal, professional, full-time custom painters around here. So I don't do it full time. I do it for fun. I do it kind of a little bit more on my own terms kind of deal. I was doing customer work for a while, for a few years. And it just gets, especially with doing builds over the winter, it gets to be way too much. And like, I only took in probably 3 or 4 jobs total this year. And I'm not sure that either of those bikes are going to be ready for the show they need to be ready for. So
is Billy coming up?
He said the other day he's not planning on coming up anytime soon. So I have to ship his tins down to him. Yeah, I know. But yeah,
so that must be terrifying though, sending paint down to places. Like, you put all that time and effort in, and like UPS or whoever's responsible for it, you just got that vision of the fragile sticker and the fucking postman kicking it down the
it's so scary.
Wagon,
like Ace Ventura, dude, down the fucking hallway, exactly. Just like doing cartwheels and shit.
Dude, that's so. I hate that part of the process. For one, we were talking about this earlier. I hate dealing with our post offices around here, and just shipping stuff in general. But yeah, like I've done a couple like art shows and things like that where they ship me whatever it is we're painting, and then I have to ship it to them. And that portion is always
even the packaging on something that's freshly painted could fuck it up,
100%. If you put something, you put the plastic wrap a little too close and there's some vibrating going on in the airport or in the airplane that is traveling wherever it's going to, it's going to stuff it. And you know what I mean? So yeah, it's very nerve wracking. And I get the tracking number and I'm like, incessant on checking it every half an hour. And
the other thing is sometimes they get super fucked up. Like I did when I did a vapor honing and I was doing I did this guy's heads and cylinders, and I package things really nice. Like, I used to be in shipping, so I know how to like pack things like computer shit like really nice. I packed this shit up, I put it in a box, I ship it to him. He's in like Chicago or some shit, and he sends me pictures when it gets to him. Dude, the box is soaked. Okay, the box is soaked. I just vapor honed this raw steel, like, so everything's all flash rusted, and all the fins are broken off it. Like, dude, there was like 5 or 6 fins broke off it. So I actually had him ship it back, and Grease, the guy that did the show before me, he welded them up. I cleaned them up again, and then I reshipped them.
Damn.
And it was good to go. But dude, like, that makes your heart sink, like, you spent so much time and someone gets it. Dude, it looked like someone like literally threw it off the truck into like a ravine, and it just sat there. And then they were like, oh fuck, there's a package, and then like put it back in the truck and just delivered it.
That's the worst, man.
Yeah, that's so fucked. They're probably like, oh, this thing's heavy.
Yeah. So yeah, that part makes me super nervous, and I have to do that soon. So thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, how do you pack it? Is it just bubble wrap?
I use bubble wrap, but usually what I use, I know this is ridiculous and too much, but usually what I'll do is I'll go buy a pack of microfiber towels and I'll wrap.
Yeah, I was about to say,
whatever.
So like, there's no plastic like sprinkling on it and shit.
Right. Yeah. Microfiber is a lot less likely if it's chafing. It's a lot less likely to scratch the clear coat or whatever. So I usually wrap them and then tape them up in microfiber towels and then do, the bubble wrap and the newspaper and the whatever else. And I pack it so that like it fills all the space so it can't move and whatever. But yeah, some shit's hard to ship too. Like when I had to ship that sissy bar for the motorcycle art extravaganza, it's like, so Jerry makes these sissy bars. They're, I don't know, probably 30 inches tall or whatever, but he welds a plate on the inside of the sissy bar. So he sends them out to the artist. You can do your thing. So having to paint that, and I did a little bit of fabrication and put like a tail light hanging down so it would kind of light it and whatever else, and a battery compartment in the back. Shipping that thing was like, there's almost no way this thing ends up getting there without being fucked up. And it was only going a couple states away. Yeah. Luckily, it ended up being all right. I think there was a little bit of an issue with one part on it, but it was a part that wasn't super exposed. But yeah, that part's super, super, super nerve-wracking. So hopefully those tins make it down to Florida, all right.
So what got you into painting then?
Being too broke to afford to pay someone else to paint my first bike, honestly. And then I had, luckily I had a couple of people, I just had people around me that were like, hey man, you can figure it out. It's not that bad. And it was right around the time COVID started happening. So I'd started getting really interested in it and started kind of accruing, the paint that I was going to eventually use on that build and some paint guns and some other shit. And then my wife got COVID. So I had to stay home. This was like right at the beginning of all this shit. So I had to stay home for 2 weeks just because I was with somebody who was positive. So that 2 weeks is when I painted that bike. And I was like, man, I really fucking like this. And, it's a lot of money to send your stuff out for paint if you want custom paint, especially if, you're building a show bike or something you consider a show bike. You want flake and you want all sorts of different effects.
A few grand,
That's at least, you know what I mean? Never mind if you're
same
doing
here.
like a Bagger or a Dyna or whatever that has 15 freaking pieces. That's
insane. Yeah,
$10,000 paint job if you're doing flake and all that crazy shit. So for me, it's an opportunity. I get horny for helping my friends. You know what I mean? Being a support guy. Yeah. So I really like that I can provide that to my homies and they're not paying $10,000. And I don't do it in such a way to like undercut the guys who do it full time or anything. I'm not taking any work from anybody. Or anything like that, but it's
just saving us from the rattle can. Like the other day I go, I think I'm going to rattle can this. He's like, don't, I'm going to show you how to do it. You know,
it's just,
but you probably knew what you were doing. You probably said it like that. I mean, like, Dan, he's not going to let this happen,
more or less. Yeah. I mean, if
friends don't let friends rattle can their bikes,
I don't even have much of a gripe against rattle cans. They just don't. They're honestly more difficult. Straight up, it's more difficult, and it's really not any less expensive. Yeah, when you're doing a whole bike and you're buying all those cans of 2K clear, it's really not any less expensive.
I did that on the Shovelhead, and I ended up spending more than I probably would have if I just bought the guns and pints of paint.
I don't care what anybody tells you. You can do a motorcycle paint job, especially on a chopper. You got a little peanut tank and a fender and an oil bag, maybe. That's it. You can get away with using a really cheap 3-gallon compressor. It's going to suck doing it, but you can get it done. And a $15 Harbor Freight gun and, just cheap, easy shit.
It's one of those things that like, some people just, they don't fuck with the electric. They don't fuck with paint. They don't fuck with upholstery, know? Like my whole thing is like, you should be doing the whole thing by yourself.
For sure.
You should do everything that you can by yourself.
Yeah. Or at least have a go. Doing it.
At least
definitely.
At least try it out.
Yeah.
Or I mean, but that's the thing is once you get into like not everybody has the time, but they might have the money, and they can do everything else but the paint, and like
paint's tough too because you have to have a place to do it.
Yeah, true.
You can just like put up a tarp and cordon off a spot in your garage, but
you can't do it like if you're living in there's dudes that do they rent on their bikes out in an apartment complex,
in the parking lot or whatever.
But you're not going to be out there with a spray, with spraying shit in a fucking Tyvek suit, So yeah, there's definitely limitations. And the other thing is like you put together a bike, dude. I gotta say that the paint's the most important part.
Yeah.
Definitely. Make or break it.
And you have all sorts of cool shit on it. It's like that's a cool bike. Once it gets painted, it goes from here to way the fuck up here.
Yeah.
And if you have a shitty paint job, It doesn't go way up there. It goes like right here. And if you have like a fucking kick-ass paint job on it, it's like that's the first thing people look at. It's the first thing people see. It's fucking what really wows people. It's so important to the build.
For sure.
So I get it. If you're not good at it, you might just be like, dude, it's not my bag. Let someone else handle this.
That part of it makes it scary as a painter. At least for me, my anxiety is horrific. So it's like I can be doing this paint job for a homie. Know it's going to Rhino, right? And know that if there's a little goofy shit wrong with it, he knows that I'm painting in a shed when I have time, you know, with what I've got. And he's not going to be a stickler about it. But my anxiety is like, I can't let that. If I have something on there that's fairly obvious, I can't let it go out the door. I have to fix it. So even jobs where I know I'm losing my ass already, I'll give up sleep. I'll give up time. I'll stay home from work or whatever to make sure I fix it.
Yeah.
So that part does kind of suck. And that is what kind of scared me out of doing the customer base shit. Once, you know, you don't really know this person and, you know, money's involved. It might not be the amount of money that realistically I should be gaining, but they still have that same level of expectation. So it's like, you're paying me this, what would be this level of expectation, but you have this one. That makes it tough for me to be like, hey, I get it. You want me to redo your flames, but also fuck off. You know
sometimes like if you're dealing with your homies, you know, exactly, you know, there's like, it's like, oh, look at that little scratch from where like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But other people, like consumers do, especially people that aren't like really into the culture of this, you know, like, especially like, you know, there's a lot of like young girls that are getting into this or like young boys and stuff. And they're a different generation than we are. Yeah. And they don't play by the same rules. Just like if I'm interacting with a boomer or a Gen X guy, you know what I mean? It's different expectations. Yeah. Gen Z, dude, they're foreign to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and what they expect out of a fucking job when they're paying money and shit is different than what like a millennial or whatever would be expecting.
You know, good for them for being able to speak their mind and whatever and get what you want. But with a lot of this other stuff that we do, people just don't understand what goes into it. So they don't understand the end price. You know what I mean? The quote, they're like, what do you mean? You're just spraying.
Yeah, and it's also like going back to like what you say about like obviously the new generation of people. I mean, they're sat there watching literally the average attention span is like 30 seconds, and they assume that this paint job that's been done in a 30-second video is like, oh well, you know, well, why can't you just do that? And
because they watch the TikTok of the guy that fucking is making $1 million a month doing his TikToks on it, you know, making it look easy. But what they don't show is exactly fucking 15 years to get that goddamn good, you know.
And also, like, you know, obviously you guys are related to this. Like, you can use the same products for the same, like you use the same sealer, the same primer, the same base coat, like, or at least the same brand. And then Monday's paint job was fine. And then the paint job you do in 2-3 weeks time, you do the same process and you have a reaction in the paint. It cracks, it splits, it blisters up. And it's like, fuck, you know, like you've got to do it all again, you know,
especially if you're doing like, someone's like, repaint this tank. And it's like fucking 30 years old. They got to swap me. It's like, there's goddamn asbestos in this motherfucker, dude. There's fucking like, the fucking bung is in there with like fucking lead. Like, you don't know how that shit reacts from the 60s with brand new paint and shit. That's the thing that, and I've had like last time when I repainted the shovel head, dude, I had fucking chemical reactions and shit. And it fucking sucked, dude.
It's the worst.
You have to sand it all off and start back from zero. So it's tedious process, but like I do say that like if you're into the building of bikes, you should try everything once, and you should try everything twice, dude. You know, like we were just talking about this last week, is like mounting tires and shit. I tried it once, failed miserably, and then I gave it a second try, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking do this, and it wasn't that bad, and now I can do it myself. You know, so like don't give up and keep on fucking around with shit. Like, it's not out of your grasp, dude. You know, like
for sure,
you figured out how to do a bottom end rebuild on a bike. You don't know how to sew though. Like maybe pick up that you know, like try it out. Yeah, my fucking seats that I make, they're not nice. They're not like Rivers seats and shit. But I did it myself, and it didn't cost me fucking $700.
Right, and your ass has a place to sit.
Yeah,
so I'm just farting on the fucking thing anyways. You know. Yeah, sure.
I mean, have you had a go at doing any? Because obviously at the moment, like it's become massively trendy, or people are wanting like the cracked paint jobs. You know, like where it looks like it's done from the '60s. Have you done
Yeah.
Have you done any of that stuff yet?
So I have done
How's
a
that
lot of
going for you?
experimentation. That I'm sure everybody knows. That's the by far the most gate kept secret in custom paint, especially motorcycle and chopper shit right now. You just straight up don't ask somebody how to do it. So I haven't, and I'm trying to figure it out. You know, there's some clues and shit on the internet, but there is nothing that I've found where someone will teach you how to do it. So yeah, I'm trying to learn it. Truthfully, I have a bit of a conflict with it morally, I guess, because realistically, what's happening when people are doing the crackle paint job, at least to an extent, you're ruining the paint job. Like you're making the paint job fail prematurely. That crackle that people are going after happened because bikes were sitting with lacquer paint from the 60s for 40 years and hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. That you know what I mean? Like that's winter or nature doing that. So we're trying to recreate that shit. You are technically making the paint job fail. So it's like, it's not going to last forever. And to some extent, I understand, like, that's the point. I want it to look fucked up and I want it to crack and, you know, parts where it looks like it's burned and whatever. So I'm trying to learn it because it's hot and I do like the way it looks, but it's weird. It's like I'm learning how to fuck up my own work, and I know how terrible it is to fuck up paint. So it's like it hurts to learn how to do it.
Dude, for whatever reason, I was like
you've
thinking
learned,
about that.
you've learned how to make it good.
And I was like, I don't like patina paint jobs because it's like dishonest. You know what I mean? Like,
it's hard to make it look real.
And then I kind of flipped and I was like, no, actually, I do like patina paint jobs because I don't know where I fall on this yet. But like on one hand, it's dishonest. You should just let it age like regularly and get it fucked up. But on the other hand, it's also very freeing because I did one myself on a sporty a while ago. You don't care what the fuck happens to it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of liberating too, because if you have like a really nice fucking paint job, dude, like I'm one of those guys. I don't have nice things. I don't like to have nice things. I don't have like snap-on tools and shit. I'm gonna fucking ruin them.
Yeah.
Harbor Freight sponsor us. But I like having shitty bikes that are just ridden. And when I see a bike at a show and it's pristine, I'm just like, not my thing, you know?
Yeah,
like I'm kind of like in awe. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful, you know, like in the dudes that they go through. And again, like guys like Christian Newman or fucking Hawk Shea, where their bikes are just like perfect.
Yeah.
And every surface is shiny and shit. But when I'm at a show, I like to see the ones with like gnarly shit on it. You know what I mean? Like, road grime. They don't wash them. And that's how my bikes get. I build them and I'm like, this is the best it's ever going to look. And then it's downhill from here. And you just ride the shit out of them. And every time you get a dent in your tank or a chip on your fucking paint or fucking something breaks and you just have to like zip tie it in place or whatever. And you're like, yeah, I'll fix that later, but you never do. Yeah. Those are the bikes that I'm just like, I don't know. It has a history with the rider, you know? And that's what's, I don't know, fucking romantic and shit.
Yeah.
I think there's like two types of Harleys, isn't there? There's like the pristine ones, and then there's like I don't think in the middle Harley works. I don't think there's like if it's gonna be clean, it has to be immaculate, or if it's gonna be dirty, it has to be like you said, it has to have all the road grime on it. It has to have like, you know, like the chrome's fake. I mean, I fucking hate chrome anyway, but like the chrome has to be like dull as fuck and like scuffed up and. You know, then I think it looks equally as cool as the Trailer Queen or whatever you want to call it, you know.
Right. Yeah. They both have their place, you know, like in a show when I look at a bike and it's just like sparkling and shiny and perfect. I'm just like, wow, that's fucking amazing, you know. But then the other side of me is like, I like the utilitarian motorcycle, you know, like I'm not a big long front end guy because I live out in the country. I live on a dirt road. I live on a hilly area, you know, like I like having a front brake, you know.
Right.
And I like functionality as well as like the aesthetic thing. But my bikes are built mostly for utilitarian reasons because when I'm out on the road, I try to get as much road time as possible. And when I'm out there, it's like I want it to perform the way that I want it to perform because I've had the fucking super long front end and it fucking sucks, dude. Like I've pulled into fucking gas stations, hit potholes that are 7 inches deep. And I'm fucking holding on with one hand. I'm off the bike and I'm revving the shit out of it. I got the fucking
whiskey throttle.
Yeah, dude. And I'm like, no, I like I like it nice and short. I'm not like I'm 6 feet in if I'm wearing stilettos, but I like to be able to put my feet down, you know. And if I'm on a hill or something, I like to be able to just take off and not have to fucking, you know. But that's just me. That's me. And I'm not hating on anybody that likes it. I love long front ends. When I see dudes with like long, rigid front ends that are fucking like 7 feet long and shit, I'm like, you're a maniac. That fucking looks so cool. Right. I'm not gonna ride it though. I can't do it.
I like
not
both.
My thing.
Yeah, I like both, and it's just a Sportster. But my Scythe is the Sportster I have. That one I like. You know, it's all new chrome. It's all, you know, the frame is painted and polished and faded and yada yada, and it's pearl and it's all that. I like having that, and I guess I don't really consider it a show bike because I ride the shit out of it too. But like when I put it in shows or whatever, it's always dirty. You know, for the most part, it's always fucked up, or I rode it there or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. I kind of like both. And then the Evo that I'm building is 100%. It's goofy looking. The proportions are weird, but it's perfect for me.
Yeah. Dual disc front end.
Yeah. It's just that bike is everything that I don't know. I'm making that bike exactly what I want. And, you know, I'm including the fact that I have a bad back in it. You know what I mean? Like I'm making it comfortable.
There's a chiropractor seat on the back.
Yeah. Right. I like both. I like the utilitarian. I like having the wiring exposed. I'm running tubeless tires, so if I have to change, I don't have to worry about a tube and all that other shit. But I do like some of the frilly, shiny chrome shit too. You know what I mean? I like both.
Yeah.
See, I just like the way, like, I like the way that obviously Larry used to build his bikes. So I like the fact that they're like fucking. My missus just come into the front room and she's sticking her middle finger up at me. Sorry. I like the way Larry always described building a bike. He likes them to go fast and short and high, for the roads of New York.
Yeah,
and that.
Skinny tires, de-raked.
Yeah, man.
It depends on where you live, right? Like he's in New York City, he's going to be like, you got fucking traffic problems. Like you need to have that thing be able to maneuver. And if you like to go fast on those streets, you know, like for me in the Northeast where I live, it's different from like where Dan lives, you know, like he can pull out of his driveway and there's no snow, no mud. Like you could have a fucking long front end, no front brake and cruise on those streets. And where I'm at, it just doesn't make sense. You know, like,
for
sure. I'm an hour from Dan, you know, like when we're like, oh yeah, let's go riding and we're planning a day of riding. It's an hour ride just to go meet up with these motherfuckers, you know, and I'm having trouble on the way. I'm running out of gas or I'm fucking breaking down, you know?
Yeah, man. That's the thing, innit? It's like, I think what I like about chops is like, especially when people ride them properly, because like people that don't understand like V-twin choppers and bobbers, they all most of these sports bike riders, they think that like guys like you that ride V-twin chops, they think you're slow, and it's like no, these fuckers can haul, these fuckers can go and like hold their own, and it's like they get shocked when you fucking beat on them,
Yeah, for sure. And I mean if you're looking for speed, Harley is not what you're looking for. You can go buy. I found this out last year at Bike Week, and it was actually pretty disheartening as a Harley guy. They had at the Speedway up here, they have a NASCAR track, and every year during Bike Week, they let all the manufacturers set up. They have their big tents. They have a Harley tent, Indian, Suzuki, whatever. So we were kind of walking through and just looking at everything. And my buddy Kevin is like a previous street bike dork. So he knows a little bit more about that shit. We're in the Suzuki 10, I think, and it's called like the H2 or whatever. It's the fastest production motorcycle you can buy on planet Earth. And it was like, I want to say it was 21,000 or 22,000 for a brand new one. And we went to the Harley one, and to get like the newest model of fucking Sportster is like $22,000 for a 1200 or whatever the fuck the Revolutions are or whatever. And it's like, the fastest, most engineered motorcycle in the world that you can buy, production motorcycle, is the same price as a fucking Sportster. What are we doing here? As a Harley guy, like, fuck. But
obviously, like the story of Harley, it's like it's a fairy tale to a lot of people, because like a lot of people can't afford them, so they'll save up regardless of how much they cost, and it's obviously, it's like you said about a paint job, like the idea of owning a Harley, like you're buying into history, you know, and it's such a fucking cool history. You're buying into that, you know. It's whether you're a newbie and you go and buy the brand new bike with the Harley Davidson leather jacket and the Hog Owners Club shit, you know, it doesn't matter. The fact is you're buying into a culture that's been around forever, you know.
Yeah, automatic cool points. I mean, I love them because it's like I won't ever buy a new Harley. Like air cooled engines that are constantly screaming fucking hot. Just like the older the better. And that's what I just like, that era of Harley. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a huge Harley guy now. I'm not like, I don't wear the Harley leather jackets and shit, you know, like I'm not like, but old Harleys were the coolest bikes of the time. You know, that's my opinion. And I love the history of it. And I love that, like, you know, it has a rich history, especially here in America. And a lot of that has to do with, you know, just the dudes, the culture that came out of choppers here in America were like guys that came back from fucking World War II. They rode Harleys in the war. They had the WLAs, the fucking flatheads and shit. They came here and they were like, civilian life is boring.
Yeah, fuck society.
I want to do whatever the fuck I wanted, like when I was over there, you know. And then they formed these clubs. The club history is super cool here too. But it all centered around Harley American made motorcycles, but mainly Harleys, you know. So like you couldn't be in the club if you had a Honda, you know what I mean?
That's still that way for a lot of them. Like you have to ride a Harley Davidson. It has to be an American.
It's in their bylaws.
It has to be XCC.
Yeah. And a lot of that stuff is practical too, like the CC thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, because we ride with people, it doesn't matter what kind of bike you have, you know, but like if I'm on a 1200 Sportster and you're on a fucking, you know, 650, dude, when we pull out into traffic, you're not keeping up with me, dude. Right. You know, like I got a 5-speed and, you know, like it doesn't matter what you did to that fucking thing. You're not keeping up with me.
Right. And I don't know how it is over there, how generally people ride over there, but over here, at least, the majority of people who ride motorcycles are hole shot in every single red light. Like that's just kind of, you're getting the hell away from the cages. You know what I mean? So, and it's just fun. You're on a motorcycle. You want to open it up.
You want to tear it up and fucking.
So when you get out of a red light or a stop or whatever, you're wrenching right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're riding with a pack, dude, you kind of have to be quick. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so the first guys off the line, they're hauling fucking ass. They know there's a car coming, and you got to get fucking 12 dudes through. Yeah, everybody's just ripping off the line like as fast as get up into fifth as fast as it'll fucking go.
Yeah, for sure. So fourth. If it's an organized pack or whatever, you got to have a CC limit or something. Especially if you're taking highway.
Yeah.
That type of riding is generally what you'd see from like club, you know, like the clubs. Obviously, like, you know, HA are over here, like a lot of the clubs that you guys have, and obviously they made their way over to Europe and into England. So you still see, and you do see that riding from like some of the old school lads. But unfortunately, like, I mean, I remember being at a bike cafe not long ago, and I'm sat there. I was about to do a podcast with a really cool guy over here. Keep It Country, one of the lads from last week of July, who very much that type of mindset. They've become massive on YouTube. They have like nearly 400,000 subscribers on YouTube last July, and they're living that life, you know, like what you're describing there. But typically, like people have like lost, like going back to like the cafe thing, like listening to two people talking about their heating setup in their jacket and their trousers. Like or in their pants, as you guys would call them. I'm like what the fuck's going on? Like, you know, like it's just, I mean, each to their own. At least they're out, I suppose. You know, I can't chat shit on them. At least they were out on the road. But like, to me, getting excited about having a warm jacket on the road, it's like, we'll jump in a car. Like, you know, like either don't ride or jump. You know, like I don't have safety trousers. I have an armored jacket, but looks like a typical like lumberjack style jacket. It doesn't look like a safety jacket. You know, it's like I fucking ride in shorts. Like, you know,
and like we were talking to like Matt earlier in the episode is like, you know, like people don't like to ride in the cold. People don't like to ride in the rain. But here's what separates people in the community. It's like there's some people that won't ride when it's cold. They won't ride when it's in the rain. They won't go to the show. If it's going to be raining, they're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, then there's the group of people that are like, well, we're going to ride in the rain to get to the show.
It's going to suck.
Yeah.
It's going to suck.
Do it.
It's going to suck. But, and that's kind of like, those are the people that last around here, you know, because when shit gets hard, dude, you persevere, you know, you just fucking chug through it. And it's like, that's how you should be living your whole life too. I think I said this on the last episode too, is like, if you are presented with two different choices, one's easy and one's hard, always choose the hard thing to do because it's the right thing to do. There's never been an easy right choice. It always has to be hard, you know? So you're going to have a blast at the show. Just get through the fucking rain, you know? Persevere, get through that bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, your pants get a little bit wet.
Well, yeah, but you're also going to get a story out of it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things objectively every time. I can't think of one riding experience where it was like so-and-so broke down and this happened or that happened and blah, blah, blah. And it was a negative experience.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously as long as it doesn't end up in somebody got into an accident or whatever, but so-and-so broke down and we were stuck on the side of the road for 8 hours trying to fix it, blah, blah, blah. That's still a couple of years later. That's a positive experience. That's not like, I can't believe I went on that fucking ride. I'm never riding with that guy ever again. It's like, that was fun. Cause this happened and this happened.
That's
we were on the side of the road.
where you see where like your friends are too. It's like, they don't abandon you. They're not like, all right, well, good luck calling AAA. I'll see you. You know, like they're like, I'm not leaving until this bike is running, you know? And it's like, those are the fucking people you want to surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Those are your boys. And if someone does leave you and it's stranded on the side of the road, don't be hanging out with that motherfucker anymore, you know? It's a good, like, just being into choppers in general or into custom bikes is a good litmus test on personalities, you know, because it takes a certain type of person to go through all this struggle and strife and pain for absolutely no reward.
Yeah, right. The thing that we love to do is illegal and
like
dangerous.
There's no reward at the end.
Yeah, right.
You know, like I'm not getting any of my money back.
Right, for sure. At some point, all of us that are doing this stuff, I know the word outlaw gets thrown around a lot, but it's kind of like, I personally think you kind of have to be of an outlaw mindset 99% of your life. You know what I mean? To really understand or like get everything out of this, you know, even if I'm driving my truck, it's not like, okay, I'm in a cage. Now I got 4 wheels. Now I have to go the speed limit. Like I'm still doing stupid shit. Ever.
You speed like a motherfucker though.
Well, dude, I hate being stuck behind slow people. God, I fucking hate it. The driving part, motorcycles or in a car, the actual driving is not my favorite part. I like to get where I'm going and then have fun where I'm going and do that. I don't know why, but yeah, I drive a little. I don't ride like an asshole. I don't think. I usually ride in the back. I like overseeing everything and getting people back that are fucking with us or whatever.
Yeah. Riding in a group is the funnest thing you can do if you do it right. You know, like you're doing it.
The feeling is undescribable.
Yeah, dude. Like when you're like peg to peg with dudes that know how to ride and you're keeping up with people too, you know, like that's really fun riding. So
especially in twisties, that's a big barometer for me. If I've ridden with someone enough that we're going on these little tight little roads out here, we kind of know the road maybe. And usually with people that you're not super comfortable with, once you get into the twisties, you go, you know, you're riding in a line now. So you have the whole lane. But if you're riding next to somebody and you start leaning into that turn and they're still right there with you, fucking peg to peg, you're like, all right.
Yeah, because the guy on the outside has to speed up. The guy on the outside and it's more synchronized. And that is a club thing. And I learned that from club guys, you know, like riding with them.
Yeah.
And it
shows you how much you can trust that person. It shows you how much you can trust. It shows you how much you can trust that person. You know, it's like
100%
because obviously you're relying on them, not like fucking. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you know, I've done a bit of it, and it's, you know, obviously being around like the club life a bit as well with my dad, and like the only reason I'm not part of a club is the main reason is because like my missus and my kids are more important, and it's as simple as that. Like otherwise, like I grew up around this culture as well, you know, as a child, and you know, and it's like when you're stood next to a group of people that you know that have really got your back, like it's an intoxicating feeling. Like, you know, like my missus, she doesn't get the culture, and she says to me, she says it's like listening to it's like listening to a bunch of kids in a playground, you know, like scrapping and fighting. And I said, you're 100% right. I said, but the difference is like people are willing to lay down their lives for this. You know, I said, whether it's wrong or right, I said, but like, that's the truth. You know, it's like that culture is, you know, and I think like I learned my place in this culture. Like I don't go around yabbering about, you know, which club I support. And I've been very lucky, and I imagine you guys have as well. I've been lucky to have club members on my podcast, but never to talk about clubs, to talk about their personal businesses, their personal life. And, you know, it's an honor if they do want to talk a little bit about the club they're associated with. And, you know, I take it as a great honor and a privilege to be able to hear their stories, you know?
For sure.
And
dude, like mad respect for the club scene, because it's really hard, number one, to get in. And then number two, it's like the thing that I love most about the club, not just motorcycle clubs, but really any club where it's hard to get in and it's hard to stay in, is it puts a framework around everybody's friendships, you know, and there's consequences for fucking straying from that, you know, like you don't get to be in the cool club if you don't, you know, if you're not fucking standing on business, if you don't
you're a rat or fucking whatever,
or you just help your boys out, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's dudes that like that won't fucking help. Like if I'm like, I know for a fact, if I'm like, hey Dan, I gotta move, that moving people sucks, right? But if I'm like, Dan, I need you to move some heavy shit out of my house, that motherfucker will be there on a fucking Saturday morning and sacrifice his fucking beautiful Saturday to help me move my stinky old couch, you know? Like it's that kind of shit that like is lost on a lot of people, you know, especially the younger crowd here. It's just like, loyalty and commitment to your friends is so important.
Do you know what, mate? It's fucking crazy you say that, because it's like obviously all this negativity around like the 1% like side of life. It's like I say to people, like my old man used to be a prospect for a 1% club, and I would tell the story exactly how it is. My dad would come back from club meeting, and I'd say the boys, and the boys are good, and that's pretty much all he did. And I would say this to people, I'm like, look, you guys have this fucking retarded political government opinion on a club that you don't even know the history of. You don't even know that, like, we'll say, for example, the likes of the Hells Angels, like, how many people that have this bullshit opinion. First of all, they call them a gang, and they're not a gang, they're a club, and they don't even know where they fucking originate from. And I say to people, I'm like, how the fuck can you have an opinion on something that you know nothing about apart from what the fucking police and the news have been telling you? You never hear about all the toy runs, all the charity runs, all the shit that they fucking help keep, you know. And that's just one club that are doing great things, let alone many others, you know. It's like, and that's the thing. It's like you said, like, no one's fucking taking responsibility for the shit coming out of their mouth anymore, because they're being told that they can say
that's why they don't
fucking
like it.
Want.
That's why they don't like those clubs, is because there used to be unwritten rules in society. Like if you fucking run your mouth, you get hit, you know? And I like those rules. I think they're good rules.
No, I think so. I fucking think so. I think because it's like, you know, like now, especially in the UK, like, you know, my children are going to school and they're being told that they've got rights. And don't get me wrong, everyone has rights, but they're being told that they have the same fucking rights as an adult with a fucking child mind. It's like, and look at what's happening in society, you know? It's like, I say to my missus, I'm like, if the way the world is going so right, why is it so fucked? You know?
Yeah, right.
You know.
It all does come down. A lot of it comes down to the public perception of shit. It's a lot like Skinhead and everything else, where all you see is American History X and things like that are telling you racist, 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 racist. And it's like, it was literally started in England by African people. Like it's a black thing. And it's the same thing with biker shit, where it's like, oh, you ride a Harley or a custom bike and you have tattoos and whatever else, you're a scary, murdering, raping, pillaging fucking Viking. And it's like, no, man, I'm a mechanic with children. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, people are stupid, dude.
Yeah.
And they don't get it, and they never will, and they're not welcome here. You know what I mean? Like, no tourists. My like motto has been like, make motorcycling dangerous again. You know, like I like Dan's super into hardcore. That's a cool culture. You know what I mean? Like it's It's awesome. It's loving, but it's also violent and fucking scary if you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with motorcycling. Should be the same way. Like I'm like open arms. Like, hey, come on in. You know what I mean? But it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? It's not for all these Instagram models to fucking make money off of and shit. You know, like,
and they won't stick around long anyways.
It's fucking offensive to me.
No,
you know what I mean? Right. Like, oh, you find your little niche and it's like, that's cool. But be about it. If you're about it, then you're cool, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it just shows you like how like society look at shit, because like you say, like hard, like punk rock and hardcore is like, you know, instantly deemed potentially violent and promoting aggression. But like anyone, like listen to fucking classical music. I mean, how fucking aggressive does that sound? You know, like, okay, it might be violins and pianists and shit, but when you see like the effort and the aggression involved in producing that music, you're like, how the fuck? It just shows you, like, you know, kind of like, oh, someone wears a white coat with a badge on it that says doctor. They give you an opioid that destroys many thousands of lives, but someone that smokes cannabis is all of a sudden, especially in the UK, because like it's still illegal here. All of a sudden, someone that smokes weed is a fucking criminal, is promoting violence, and it's like, but yet an opioid is destroying many more lives.
Oh yeah, we know weed's a gateway drug.
Yeah.
It's a load of bullshit, isn't it? A load of fucking shit.
You know, like we're decimated here, you know?
Yeah.
England's the same, mate. Opioid addiction is bad in the UK. You know, it's bad in the UK as well.
Bro, I think I might be the only surviving male for my fucking graduating class. Like, dude, every single dude that I've ever known is dead from opioids.
Crazy.
Or opioids, and then they got into heroin because it was cheaper or something.
Yeah, right.
Or
it ends up being fentanyl.
Dude, now it's all fentanyl. Right. Now you can't even take drugs.
Yeah.
Now you have to go to a fucking dispensary, dude, because I just read this morning some chick got fucking weed laced with fentanyl and died.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. I'll go to a dispensary all day for sure. I'm all about illegality and whatever else. Like, yeah, there's an allure to, you know, getting your bud from the guy behind the grocery store or whatever, you know, on the slide. But yeah, I don't. Any recreational drug use or anything that I've been doing in the last 10, 15 years is either you do it in front of me first, or I'm buying it from a fucking
guinea pig
store. I'm paying taxes for it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So can you go and buy weed? So can you guys go and buy cannabis then, like legally?
Not in New Hampshire.
Yeah, our state hasn't legalized it yet, which is crazy because we were just talking about live free or die, but they haven't. They've decriminalized weed, so you can have up to a certain amount, but you can't buy it unless you have a med card. If you have a med card, you can't carry guns.
Yeah. So
that's kind of a point of contention. So for us, we have to go to Vermont or Massachusetts or another state,
which is very close.
Yeah, the dispensary I go to is 35 minutes south of where I live.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, it's easy to
and get there's no checkpoints or anything between states, so it's just like it's a 45-minute drive.
Yeah, and because it's decriminalized, I forget how much you can have.
I think it's like an ounce.
I think you can have up to an ounce, which is a fair amount of fucking weed. And
up
to an ounce, it's like a ticket. You get a however many dollar ticket. It's just a violation level. It's not like you can get arrested for it anymore. Anything over than that, or I think if they can prove you were high while driving, which I don't know how the fuck you do that, but then you're looking at some different offenses and shit. But as far as
look at how many gas station snacks you have in the passenger seat.
Yeah, no shit.
They go combos and Oreos.
Yeah,
you're high, dog.
Science says you're high.
That's probable cause.
Yeah.
See, in the UK they have a tongue test. Like over here, like if they pull you up, you do an alcohol test, and then they do like this fucking. You gotta they scrape your tongue, and they're able to. Yeah, they're able to pick up like cannabis, cocaine, opioids. Again, exactly all the ins and outs. Yeah. It's
you under arrest when you do that? Is that like part of the sobriety testing?
Yeah, it's part of like they pull you up. Obviously, even if they're just pulling you up for a fucking tail light or something, I think it really depends on like the police officer you got. And I mean, I've been back in England like 14 years and I've been stopped twice in my car. You know, one was for not having an inspection actually on the car, and the other one was I just got the car out of the impound the day before.
Nice.
Driving it out of the impound, they're like, it's not inspected.
Yeah, real. That's crazy that they can fucking. I would have such a problem with that.
Dude,
the fact that you're taking bodily fluids from me during the I'm not under arrest.
They can't do that unless if you kill someone, like if you're drunk and kill someone, they can take a blood draw.
Felony level, yeah. So like I got into I did a front flip in a BMW a few years ago, and
it wasn't a trick though. It was an accident.
It wasn't on purpose. So they were charging me with a felony DWI. So they, by law, when I was in the hospital, they were like, hey, because we're charging you with this, we're taking your blood. It wasn't like I didn't have a choice. I couldn't say no. But roadside, if they go, hey, can you blow into this little fucking goofy thing? We can go, fuck no.
They go, they have field sobriety tests where they make you do the alphabet backwards and hop on one foot and shit.
Yeah.
Make you look all goofy. Say, fuck you. I want a lawyer, bitch.
Yeah. If you're an American, don't ever do any of that shit. But that's crazy that they can take bodily fluid from you on a roadside stop.
Yeah.
So if you refuse to, they then arrest you. Then they take you in, and then obviously you're requested again. But obviously, I've never got that far in. So I'm probably talking. I don't want to say shit exactly what it is, and it might not be like that, but I know that they do it on the side of the road. I mean, I've done a what was I say when I got pulled up for having no inspection ticket on my car, MOT ticket was I had an alcohol test, blow into the thing and fucking lick the fucking swab thing for cannabis. But yeah, that's
crazy.
Yeah, dude, I got a DWI, so driving under the influence, and they had me pulled over. I was already pulled over. My brother was inside the convenience store stealing Parmesan subs. He had like 2 of them in his pocket, and he was blacked out. But they said, blow into this. I said, fuck you. And then they arrested both of us. My brother started fighting the cops when he came out. And then they arrested both of us. They brought us down, and they have another machine at the police station, which is more accurate, I guess. And they said, blow into this. And I said, fuck you. And then I went to court, and they were like, we're going to revoke your license forever. At the time.
Holy shit.
I got into an accident earlier in the night.
Yeah.
It was pretty messy.
Oh, you did a bit of a hit and run action?
I went, so I was drinking, I was shit-faced. I was drinking vodka, and I wear glasses, but they don't look cool. So I was young. So I just had them in like the back of the seat, and I was driving everybody, and we pulled out of this party, and I blew a stop sign, Fisherville Road in Concord. I got T-boned by a pickup truck.
Damn.
Smashed in the window, and I kind of like went across the intersection, and it was actually where my in a trailer park where I grew up. In the first 3 years I was in this trailer park. And I'm looking, and I saw the truck all smashed up. My cousin was sitting next to me, and his head went through the fucking window, and the thing was all caved in, the dome lights on. And then I go, fuck it, dude. And then I was just like, cover up that light. So he just like covered up the dome light, and we went to another party, and my brother was blacked out drunk, and this kid, it was celebrate, get out of prison party. And then my brother stepped on this guy's foot, and he was like, hey man, you just stepped on my foot. My brother's like, fuck you. And the guy pulled out a knife. So we're like, all right, we gotta go. Before my brother gets stabbed. And then he was like, hey, I need some cigarettes. So we stopped at Store 24 in Concord on Main Street. Yeah. And dude, side of the car is all caved in. He's in there stealing Parmesan subs. Oh, God knows what else, And my boy was in the back seat, Stevie B, shout out. And 2 cops pulled up, and they were like, hey, what happened here? It's January in New Hampshire. And he's like, what's up? And I was like, oh yeah, that happened a while ago. Like, dude, I'm just driving around, no window, anyways, my brother came out, and he was just like, I'm gonna start fighting cops immediately. And then they beat the shit out of us, by the way, because he was fighting the cops, and I was like, what's up? And at the time they still had like billy clubs and shit.
Oh yeah, those things hurt.
Yeah, so they like fucked us up, and then they threw us in jail. But I didn't get off with it. They were just like, I didn't have a lawyer or anything. I was so my mom, when I hit 16, she was like, you do your own dentist appointments, you do your own doctor's appointments, you're a man, you have your driver's license, whatever. Right. So I went to court, dude, by myself, no lawyer, no nothing, no prep, and they were just like, they just fucked me, dude.
Yeah, fuck that. I got a lawyer. I got a really expensive lawyer.
Yeah, I didn't have a job or nothing.
See, like the in Spain, man, they're like fucking corrupt as fuck. Like over there, it's like it's routine that they do like routine stops like everywhere. Like they'll stop like a dual carriageway, you know, like they don't give a fuck, like because obviously there's a lot of like stuff coming up through, like a lot of, you know, Class A drugs that stuff like that are getting moved around a lot and coming up through Europe. And like I remember one night they pulled my dad up and like. They literally, you could smell alcohol coming out the window, and they ask him, where has he come from? He says, I've come from such a place. And where are you going? And we were literally like 5 minutes from where they stopped us, and they would just like, you know, say, oh, get home type of thing. Well, like this one guy I knew, he got pulled up drunk driving. They put him in the back of the police van. They took him up into the middle of nowhere, emptied his wallet, kicked the fuck out of him, and just left him.
Holy shit!
It's like,
yeah,
but
I'd prefer that. I would prefer
yeah.
the fuck out of that. I wish that was the.
I wish I would have just beat the shit out of me and left me there to die.
Beat the shit out of me, take whatever I have in my wallet, and leave it at that for sure. I'm down.
And that's literally what I said to this guy. Like, he's in the bar the next night, so he's not learned his lesson, and he's complaining about it. I was like, what would happen to you if you're in England? You know, like, you know, it's like fucking, like you'd literally be taken to court, lose your license, and you know, but like over there, like I said, over there it's like corrupt as fuck. So my parents ran a bar there, and we used to have problems with people parking outside the bar, and they would come, the police, because over there you got like 3 different types of police. You got like national, local, and then you got like civil guards, and they would come down and try and shut down the music, even though we had a permit to play the music till whatever time. And one day my mum had gone out onto the terrace to pick the glasses up, and there's 2 off-duty civil guards snorting cocaine like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. Dude, I love that shit.
After that day,
cops, dude. They're my favorite kind of cops. Corrupt cop, dude. That's why I love Mexico. You go down to Mexico and you get pulled over. We got pulled over by the federales, and they took this dude to jail. We just bribed, got him out. You know, he's drunk driving and fucking, you know, like. It's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's how life should be. You should be able to bribe cops to get out of the shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Like, at least you know where you fucking stand. Like, you know, like over here, like in the UK, because they fucking, you know, speak fucking, I don't know, the Queen's, they write the Queen's English and all that shit. Like, you read a political letter, you don't even know what your fucking name is by the end of it, you know? There's all this bullshit that they put in there. It's like, hardly anyone understands half this shit, you know. It's like that's why people here are just like
in jail over there for shit they say on the internet. I was wondering if we're gonna get like extradited and get one of those fur caps shoved up our ass. Like, what the fuck, dude? England's crazy with that shit. They'll fucking arrest you for shit you say online.
That's crazy.
That's so nuts.
Well, the thing is, just like they know here that like. They know that the real normal people with dignity and morals and like that work hard, like they know that these people have had enough, you know, like, and they can't afford to, like, I kind of say, like, they can't afford to take the fucking foot off the neck, you know, so they have to say, because obviously, like, it's England is no matter how people think it's a country, and technically it is, but it's actually a fucking island, like, and they're just screwing the working class people so much, in my opinion. That they can't afford to let up. Like, you know, people putting stuff on Facebook and Instagram, you know, it's bullshit. It's like, it's fucked up. It's fucked up, really. But
yeah, dude,
it is. Man.
Yeah,
it's bad, man. Like London's the most surveillance city in the world. You know, it's fucking crazy, and yet there's still people dying every day. You know, so it is fucked up, but
it's wild to me too. Like fucking Canada and Australia and all sorts of these fucking countries, they still pay taxes to you guys. They got your queen and shit on their fucking dollar bills. Wild.
That stuff I don't know anything about that stuff. I mean, I don't want to say anything because I don't know anything. I mean, if that's what they're doing, I don't fucking know. I just
they pay taxes to the queen, man.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Well, because it's like, yeah, dude, you guys are a small little island, but you were imperialistic for a long time. So there's like lots of territories to still pay tax to you guys. Yeah,
it's, I mean, like, and unfortunately, there's still a lot of people that are real proud of that shit. I'm like, I grew up. I mean, yes, I'm born in the, but like fundamentally, like I'll be back in Spain. I don't agree with. I just don't like here. There's no work life. There's no like apart from work. To me, there's not really much else. Like there's no work life balance. Like here, it's like we have to. Really, we're supposed to fucking pay just to watch normal television. Like terrestrial television. Like they don't like they're just trying to charge you for everything. They're trying to get bikes off the road. They don't want bikes on the road here. Like the government don't want it. That's
Right.
that opinion. I could be wrong, but I think it's very obvious. I think the fact that they're trying to ban bikes in London, like I said earlier, is kind of says enough about it.
Yep. Yeah, man. Government should get the fuck out of my business and let me live free. If I'm not fucking stealing from people or killing people, leave me the fuck alone.
That's it, man.
Why do you fucking care how safe my motorcycle is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I want to go die, that's my given right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Jack's telling that shit, dude. Fucking.
Yeah.
Sorry about the
guy. Jack's Teller anymore.
Good.
It's not even a joke. You did when you had the long hair. Now with the glasses. Didn't Alex have the same glasses too? Are those Army issued?
He got sent. They were VA issued, actually.
VA issued.
Yeah. Yep. Mine are not.
But
yeah.
So you guys have got a show coming up. Is it June, July?
May 24th.
You got a okay, May 24th.
Yeah, May 24th.
I was close.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The months are all just running together. The older you get, the fucking quicker time goes by. But yeah, we got a show in about a month and a half ish. The Reviver show. It's gonna be at fucking US Has Guns. Good luck getting up. Yeah, dude.
I love it. Love it.
I love that comment, dude, because that's the other thing is like part of the reason that the government can't just do whatever it wants is because everybody has lots of guns.
Oh yeah.
I have way more guns than I should.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
that's like over here we're not, over here I think farmers are allowed to, I mean, again, I don't know much about this, but obviously like there is guns here, right? Because there's like a lot of fucking gun crime in London. This, so
yeah, the criminals can get guns, no problem.
Yeah.
They think they bore out like the like the ones for props, like for movies and stuff. They're drilling them out, fabricating bits. There's some fucking gurus out there with a lathe and a machine shop that's making shit for them, and
you can 3D print guns.
Yeah,
motherfuckers here, dude. They're 3D printing guns, and it's legal
for now.
But do you think like because everyone knows that they can't fuck with it or otherwise you can get killed, like do you think that kind of levels the playing field? Like people don't necessarily go around causing unnecessary shit.
Big time.
Yeah, I think that like for me it's like I like having a gun because I don't want to have to rely on anybody else but myself for anything, So like if I have a gun, I don't care if someone's road raging. If they pull a gun on me, I'll shoot them. If someone breaks into my house, I'll shoot them.
Right.
Like it's nice not to. I don't want to hide in a closet and wait for a cop to save me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
show up in a half hour.
Yeah.
It's too late.
And like New Hampshire's cool. Like there's some states that aren't cool, but like New Hampshire's cool. It's constitutional carry, so you can go into a gun shop and buy a gun, stick it down the front of your pants, loaded, and walk out.
Yeah,
there's no background checks or nothing.
Right.
They just call the state real quick, and they do a quick check on you real quick to make sure you have
not a felon,
violent shit, or you're not a felon or whatever. I got a gun charge as part of that car accident I got to, and I can still buy a gun. So it's pretty loose with that stuff over here. But the fact that knowing that, even not knowing that everybody does have a gun, but because it's constitutional carry, everybody could have a gun. It's very rare that people are like shooting up movie.
New Hampshire is very, very safe, dude.
Very safe. One of the safest in the United States.
Yeah.
And then you look at other places where, like Chicago or Detroit or East St. Louis,
where only criminals have guns. The states with the strictest gun laws, only criminals have guns.
Right, and they have the highest gun crime.
Gun violence.
Yeah.
And dude, it's just, but if it's the American dream, dude, you should be able to just get a little slice of heaven out here in the Northeast,
Yeah.
and be able to protect yourself and your family. And you don't have to rely on anybody or count on anybody. That's what the Second Amendment's all about. And actually, we did an episode with Better Way 2A on just, like constitutional carry and gun rights, shit like that. I came in again. My dad, he wasn't into bikes. He wasn't into guns. My dad still doesn't own a gun. You know what I mean? I just came into it late in life, and I got my first gun, and I was like, "This is fucking awesome, dude."
Yeah.
This fun, and they're fun. They're fun to shoot.
Right.
See here, like for example, someone breaks into your house, right? If you're in bed, if you go downstairs to batter them, like the charges are like massively different to whether they come upstairs to obviously where your wife and kids are asleep. Like it's fucked up. Like you can't go downstairs and batter someone with a baseball bat. Like, obviously you're gonna, but like the reality is like the police look like it's just fucked up. Like literally, like it's
again, it's like
fucked.
Laws like that. It's like if it's fucked up, scrap them, dude. Like if someone make it simple, stupid. Someone comes into your motherfucking house that doesn't belong there. If he's not related to you, you should be able to do whatever you want to him.
Yeah, right.
You should be able to fucking torture the motherfucker, especially if you have kids, dude.
Yeah. If I can't defend the place where I live, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, in the United States is really property rights is really big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my property I own, and I can fucking hunt on my own property. I could fish on my own property. I can shoot on my own property. Right. If people come into my property that aren't allowed there, I can murder them.
Yeah, we actually have they have a thing called the castle law, and it's the man's home is his castle. And it's if someone comes onto your property and you say, "What the fuck are you doing here? Go away," and they don't answer you, you can shoot them in the face.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're just there to assess the property.
Yeah, right. like if they're not,
I work for town hall. If they don't identify themselves, they're being creepy and shit.
You're gonna get arrested. You're gonna go to court. You're gonna get charged. You blah blah blah. But constitutionally, you should be okay.
Yeah.
So if you was so protecting your home, like you murder somebody, and obviously even though it's your given right to protect your home, will you end up in prison for that then?
No.
Well, you'll end up probably doing a little bit of time in like a
while the
jail.
While the court plays out,
right?
Maybe
because you have to get
it depends on how cut and dry it is.
Yeah. If the guy had
if he has a gun,
if he has a gun in his hand and he's dead on the floor and has a gun in his hands, the cops are going to be like, okay, self-defense, cool, all good. You're going to get taken in and you're going to get fingerprinted and questioned and all that shit. But yeah, you'll go home that night.
You're not going to go to prison for that.
No, you won't. I mean,
if he was shot in the back and he's like 20 feet up the road, then they'll probably be
running
like,
away. Yeah, exactly.
Then maybe you have to go to court for that.
Yeah, you shot their tires out while they were escaping and then shot them while they're in their car. That you're going to go down for that for sure.
Yeah, but if you point a gun in someone's face, you want to kill him. If someone comes in, like we just don't have that type of crime usually in New Hampshire. Is like really safe. Like, and like where I live is super safe, dude. Like and everybody carries too. Like I've had dudes that like broke down on the side of the road, then come up. They literally will have a fucking revolver stuck down the front of their pants, hanging out that you can plainly see.
Right.
Not even concealed. And that's just normal. You know?
And is that basically them just saying, look, this is how it is if you want to fucking go there type of shit? Like
people just carry guns on them, you know?
Yeah, honestly, it's not even it's so common, it's not a flex.
Yeah.
It's just
in fact, my father-in-law is from one of those states that like isn't that gun friendly. And this guy came down because we heard like do like on like a flat tire type of thing. And he came down. And I had mine on me. He had his on him. My father-in-law was like, "You're carrying a burner," or something weird. Like he called it like a heater or something.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot." And he just like put it in his car. Like it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah,
he was like, "Sorry about that. Didn't mean to spook you."
Yeah.
But yeah, people like they'll fucking stretch or whatever. You just see like they have like a whole fucking belt on, like with extra clips and shit.
But that's why it lends itself to general public safety, because you never know. You try and do some punk shit at the mall, there's 400 people in that hall of the mall that also have guns.
I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. If I take my kids out to the fucking fair and some wacko, that's one thing is we got mass shootings here,
Well, that's
just
why
a matter of time before it fucking happens in New Hampshire.
It's crazy you say that because like my mother-in-law was staying 2 hotels down when that guy took out all them people in that open air theater in Las Vegas about 5-6 years ago.
Shit.
That's nuts.
You know what I mean? It's like it's crazy because I was literally about to ask, like, even though like it's obviously your constitutional right and like everyone generally carries, like, why do you think that they're? I mean, I know this podcast is kind of veered off that way, but like, why this type of thing seems to happen? I mean, obviously, it probably doesn't happen as much as they try to make it out. It does, but why do you think this is happening?
In America, it's because we've abandoned mental health. Like, nobody cares for these people and there's no help to be had. Everything's kind of like privatized,
But there's a lot of conspiracy shit around that too. Like Trump getting shot. That wasn't just cut and dry. Like it was some rando that hated Trump. Like there's a bunch of shit that people are saying, the CIA is involved, and it's never like super cut and dry. And to be honest, I hate to admit this, but I think it probably happens maybe even more often than people think because a lot of it doesn't get reported. I saw something recently. I forget the number, so I won't even venture a guess, but it was the number of like, there are this many school shootings per day in America. And it's like the fact that there's a number attached to that is fucking bad. Yeah. It's scary. That honestly is why I carry a gun in public. It's not like I feel like I'm going to encounter a super aggro dude at the gas station and I'm going to be the superhero that, he's robbing them and I'm going to save him. It's more so like I'm in the movie theater or something with my kids and my wife or whatever, and there's some fucking Lolo that goes crazy, I can at least help respond to that threat. It's a lot less of if you're gonna get in my face, I'm gonna pull a gun on you.
Yeah. It's all about like, really, I didn't get guns until I had kids because it's like, I don't give a fuck if I die, but like once you have children, you're like, I'll die for this motherfucker. I'll fight for this motherfucker. And I like having it on me just in case. You never know, dude. Like, dudes will fucking road rage on you and pull out a gun on you. You know what I mean? Like, never happened to me. I'm not a road rage kind of guy, but like, you never fucking know. And I'd rather have a gun so I don't have to just cower and put my fucking hands up and get shot in the face. I'd like to be able to maybe defend myself. It's a great equalizer. And I think like, like your wife should have guns. They should carry guns because like, if a fucking dude comes up to them and they want to fucking do whatever to them, it would be nice for them to be able to fight back.
Yeah.
It would be nice for them to be able to, it's a great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're frail. It doesn't matter if you're short, you don't have to be a big tough guy. If you have a fucking bullet in the chamber, dude, like that motherfucker is not going to do whatever it is he wants to do to you.
Right.
And by the way, they're fun to shoot.
Yeah, they really are.
Like go and shoot. Like sometimes I got 12 acres out here, dude. I just, me and my buds last weekend or whatever, we came out and we just went out in the forest, started shooting shit. It's a lot of fun. It's fun. It's Call of Duty in real life, cool. For all you Gen Z kids out there, like you can actually shoot guns. They're wicked loud. You can chop down trees, dude, like little saplings and stuff. We're taking them out. There's all sorts of fun guns too. Like
you can get Tannerite over here where you can literally go to a gun store and you can buy,
it blows up.
It's an explosive. It's a powder and there's a catalyst in the little tin and you mix them together, put the cap back on and put it far away and shoot it and it explodes. It's not like shooting a propane tank, but it's an explosion. Okay, like it'll blow up a microwave.
Dude, I've seen dudes like fucking get their arm chopped off. Like they'll shoot a refrigerator and the refrigerator door comes at them and like, oh my God. Like it's a big explosion.
Yeah. And you can buy it for like crazy. $30 at a gun store.
Yeah. Just for funsies.
Yeah. I mean, put it in the mailboxes, put it in the pumpkins.
It's like watching that film, fucking War Dogs. I mean, I sat and watched that and went, and it's obviously, it says at the beginning, based on a true story. Like, the fuckers are like sat in this crazy little rented office, like bidding on military contracts, like fucking tampering with shit, like from Russia and shit, selling bullets from places they shouldn't be. Like, this shit really happened. It's like, what the fuck?
Crazy. Dude. Cowboy shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
so
is.
we like our guns, we like our freedom, and we're not even hillbillies, by the way. You guys from England. Someone actually, I wanted to say, someone came into chat and they said that you can carry a gun if you're going fishing in Florida. There's this fucking channel I watch, and this dude, he's just like one of those Second Amendment auditors or whatever they call them.
Yep.
And you can just go fucking, if you have a fishing pole on you, you can have a fucking AK on you or whatever, just walking around.
Yeah.
And the cops inevitably get a million calls. Like, this guy's fucking walking around with a fucking automatic rifle. Yeah. But yeah, New Hampshire's cool as shit, dude. We got the constitutional carry. It's mad easy to get a gun, and they're relatively cheap. I got actually my house, my property borders a sporting goods store. It's right down the hill, and I go there, and that's where I buy all my guns and ammo, and they have stuff on commission. It's not expensive either.
Yeah,
guns are cheap, dude.
Yeah, you can get a pistol pretty cheap, a couple $100.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw like a sawed-off shotgun, dude. It was wild. It had like a pistol grip on it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know it was legal, dude. It was mad short.
Mossberg 500.
Yeah,
that's what I carried overseas. Yeah.
Dude, that thing is fucking sick.
It's a wrist breaker,
dude.
Yeah, they're fun.
Little pistol grip. I was like, dude, that's a sawed-off shotgun.
That's crazy that they can sell it like that.
Yeah,
obviously that's a big no-no. You can't alter the size of a barrel in America.
I know it's illegal. Yeah, it's a federal. If you saw off a shotgun, it's illegal. Oh, this thing had a pistol grip, dude, and it was like this long.
Yeah, the Mossberg 500s they're pretty cool. Yeah, they're good for like breaching and shit.
So yeah, it would be good for like home defense too. You know.
Yeah, so that like you used to have like obviously a lot like the old gangsters of London and stuff, like obviously the stories, and then when they put the stories into movies and stuff, like typically that was what you'd see was a shorn off shotgun. Because obviously like you can have a permit for a shotgun if you're to go hunting and things like that, so it isn't completely like not happening in the UK, but typically like the average person isn't carrying like and you're certainly not allowed to just walk around the streets with a shotgun, even if it's a legal full length whatever. It's
the open carry,
like knife crime's really bad here.
Like a lot of places have concealed carry laws, but they don't have open carry laws. So you can have a rifle on your fucking back, just walking around. You don't need like a special permit or anything, And dude, we got mad hunters here too. Like around here, especially, like, dude, you'll be coming. It's not an odd sight to see dudes just walking with like 2 rifles or a rifle and a shotgun, just like walking down your street on your property.
People literally around hunting season, you'll just see trucks parked off like main roads, like just randomly. They'll just stop and pull over, park next to the tree line, and get out with their shotgun and fucking whatever else and go out in the woods and hunt.
On my property, dude, we were looking. We're down the hill, and we were looking because my brother bought a property down the hill, and we're going to connect them. And we're just out there. We're like surveying. We're like, yeah, probably going down here or whatever. Dude, not 1, not 2, but 3 hunters came out of the woods. We're like, hey, how's it going, boys? Like all with loaded fucking guns. I was like, where the fuck did you come from?
No.
Yeah. I didn't you don't even see them because they're in camouflage. You don't even see them until they come right up to you.
Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
See over here, like if you plow down a deer, for example, right, by law you're not allowed to pull up, pick that deer up and chuck it in the back of your truck, but the guy behind you is. Like, so if you plow down a deer and I'm behind you, I can pull up legally and fucking take that deer home and cook it, but like the person that done it is,
you just don't want people mowing down deer for fucking food. True. That would be nuts, though, dude. If you would have to be insane.
That's a big sacrifice.
Yeah, dude.
Deer's gonna like fuck up your car.
Fuck Geico, dude. Like just like bang, like knock down a deer with your fucking truck.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's insane.
Out here we have deer lists. I used to be on the deer list
to pick up the roadkill.
Yeah, so the you can like call your local police department or whatever and say, hey, if someone smokes a deer or turkey or whatever, and you obviously have to get rid of it, you can call me and I'll come and take it. So you can get on a list to get a phone call from.
Dude, I was a few years ago, I was driving with my buddy, and the car in front of us hit a deer, and it was like on the side of the road, still alive. And he drove off to go get his dad or whatever. I say a couple of years ago. This was before cell phones, so it was like a decade ago.
Yeah.
Anyways, he drove off to go get his dad. we went to school with the kids, so we knew him. And in the time it took him to go like maybe 5 minutes up the road, get his dad and come back, dude, there was like 3 dudes had stopped. The cops showed up. And everybody was like, "What's up with that deer meat?" You know?
Somebody
they
claimed
wanted
that.
They wanted that roadkill, dude. And we're just sitting there like, "What the fuck?" And then the cop like executed the deer in the middle of the road, and it was like, "You guys fight over it." He like threw down like 2. He had like a pool cue. He snapped it over his knee. And he was like, "Fight for it."
No shit. That's funny. Yeah, it gets serious out here.
Yeah, dude, a deer, dude, that'll feed you for a long motherfucking time, dude.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. So let's talk before I let you guys go. I know you guys have got your event coming up in May. Like, is this your first event that you guys are doing? Your first like proper? I know you did the swap meet.
So we've done the last 2 years. We've done it's called the LowLife Lowdown. So we've done a show the last 2 years. We were doing it in a different town that we're doing it in now. This year we're doing it in conjunction with Harley Davidson at our local Harley Davidson dealership, which is awesome. Because they have all the resources and the event coordinator who's she's taken over pretty much all of the logistical stuff. But the last 2 years, we curated a show. We had a veteran organization that we donated to. We did it at a VFW, which is for Veterans Foreign Wars. It's like basically it's like a little clubhouse for vets. So same kind of setup that we're gonna have this year for sure. It's still going to be, we're going to have the ride-in show. So anybody who brings a motorcycle, it's all bikes, all types, any motorcycle, you park it in the parking lot, you're part of the show. And then, we will go out there, someone will go out there and there'll be a people's choice. So you might win an award. But then we also have like a curated section of builders that they either submitted their bike to us or we asked them to bring a bike in the showroom and all that stuff. And then there's going to be vendors and music and the whole 9. So we've done it the last 2 years, but this one we're hopefully going to be doing a lot bigger and better.
Yeah. It's, we wanted to do like a different type of show. And by the way, 6 beers doesn't fit in of piss doesn't fit in a single bottle. So I made a little mess up in the green room, but the first 2 years we did it was, Fred Loctite, me and Dan, and it was at a VFW, and it was an outdoor show, and it was cool, dude. We had a great time, but we wanted to do like next level thing, and when we partnered with Harley Davidson, they were just super cool about it, and they were like, "This is your show, dude. Like we're gonna be hosting it, but it's your show." Like we were really nervous coming into it, like, oh, it's the fucking mothership, dude. They're gonna fucking wanna they're gonna want to get these guys on the showroom and sell them a bike. Right. But it wasn't like that at all. It was really like, this is a celebration of motorcycles. And the GM over there, super into just the culture, and he has a badass bike too. He has I forget what he has. The paint job's insane. It's like,
oh, are you talking about Keith? Yeah. So he's got it's a Dyna. I don't know which one, but it's like my buddy After Hours Paintworks, shout out Jeff.
Oh yeah.
He painted it. It's this crazy gold and black, like full blown metal flake, like a Dyna Bro style, lowrider style paint job. Really nice. And then the guy he's partial owner of this Harley Davidson has a really fucking nice Evo chop that, it's back at the shop, and he rides it all the time in the summer and stuff. So they're about it. It's really cool. It's not some corporate shill. Like we ended up changing the date because of the corporate stuff. They wanted to keep us, keep all the corporate logistical shit.
Yeah, it's not a Moco show. And we have a good friend, Fish Tank Whiskey, shout out. He was the one that had the idea and kind of facilitated the whole thing.
He's the driver for the dealership.
Yeah. And he's worked there forever, dude. And everybody that I've met that works there, they're just super into motorcycles, man. They really just love the motorcycles and the culture and stuff. And they're not like bleed black and orange, type of thing, like it is what it is. But we ended up doing the swap. It was their suggestion to do that winter swap. They're like, let's do an event in February or whatever. And we ended up doing the swap, and it was fucking awesome, dude. It was the best swap I ever been to. It was just like, it was inside in February. They cleared out all the bikes. Rowan, the event coordinator, she took care of everything. They had food, they had music, they had booze. And
it was free for everybody.
And it was free for everybody. That's the other thing, is like, usually when you go to a show or a swap, it's like $5-10 at the door. vendor spots are $40, all that shit. This is fucking free for everybody.
Yeah, Harley just ate it. You know
yeah,
what I mean? They're paying the food truck that came. They're paying the guy that's playing the music. They're paying their employees to be
they're
there.
doing the raffles. They're doing all that stuff. They're just eating the cost. They don't give a fuck, dude. This is all about custom motorcycle culture, specifically custom motorcycle culture. And yeah, man, they've been awesome partners to work with. And this is going to be, if you've ever been to the Low Life Lowdown, this is Low Life Lowdown on steroids. This is going to be like, we actually have a legit, they're clearing out the showroom for the bike show. You know, we're going to have indoor, outdoor. We're going to have a ride-in show. We haven't talked about it yet. I'd like to get a midget stripper.
We have talked about it.
It's really hard to get a hold of these people. If you guys know one, please send them my way.
I mean, you got Alejandro in the he's obviously, I'm guessing he's over your side of the world, because he says obviously so looking forward to this show. And so like with regards to like Harley Davidson, so the guys that obviously where you're based, are they owned by Harley Davidson, or are they like a family run where they're just like official dealers? So do they answer to Harley Davidson's?
Yeah. So like the dealerships are all independently owned. It's kind of
franchises.
Yeah. If franchise, it's kind of like a McDonald's, right? So you buy the rights to Harley Davidson, and you buy the stock, you pay all the overhead on the building and stuff, but you get to stock their products. And then obviously they have a certain way that they do business. So they set the prices, they tell you, but you're actually buying the inventory and all that shit.
Yeah.
And you're an independent retailer,
So basically they're not listening, they're not answering, because obviously like obviously there's a lot of debate now with how Harley Davidson have gone woke and all this shit. So they've obviously seen that the people that are still buying and riding Harleys aren't into this new millennial like weird shit that Harley Davidson has seemed to be pushing now. And obviously they've seen that the market is still like-minded people like us that just like enjoy what it's really about. And you know, it's good.
I mean, like I said, I'll never buy a new Harley until they like re-release the Knucklehead or something.
Yeah.
Or like re-release.
Well, they just did that. They did a new take on the old school Panhead, the Duo Glide or whatever, I think. And yeah, it's got an M8 in it, and it's the same style tins and the sweeping rear fender.
I heard you had an M8, right? So the M8 is actually fucking pretty sick.
Oh fuck yeah, 100%. That motorcycle was incredible. I had a 2020 Softail Standard, and that's like the cheapest not Sportster bike you can get from Harley Davidson, and the fucking thing ripped, absolutely ripped. More so, I traded an 06 Dyna lowrider EFI for the 2020, and when I left on the bike, I didn't like test drive it or anything. So when I was leaving, I was in kind of a rush to get home, and I got on the highway and opened it up, and it about threw me off the back of the bike. That thing, they go. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of people out there right now that are building them up to the nines, and those things are fucking incredible.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. Is like, dudes
they are quick engines, and
something cool.
Yeah, they're definitely quick. I forget exactly what it was as far as power to weight and stuff, but it was, that bike moved for a Harley.
Yeah, my uncle's just bought. I think it got delivered yesterday. He's just got a lowrider ST, all in black.
Nice. Yep. If I had,
I don't know how much you pay for it. It won't be cheap.
I saw another comment, Alejandro or whatever. That's Lex.
Yeah.
Is that your full name?
So he's known as Lex. It's Alejandro and
Alejandro Cupera.
Yeah, we're gonna start.
Where the fuck did that name come from, bro?
I know. I was the whole time he's been commenting. I'm like, I don't know this person. What?
He won that stainless steel City blacksmithing hammer.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's his hammer.
Yeah.
Is this who's won it? The guy that's commenting now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lex.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
a cool hammer, man.
He's a good dude. We met him actually through the show. He showed up at one of our fucking events. I don't even think it was my event at the time.
It was Easy Times.
Yeah, it was Easy Times, and he hung out, and I was like, oh, a drinking buddy. Because the other thing is, these young kids, they don't drink like they used to. So whenever someone shows up and they're like, hey, I'll drink a beer at a gas station, I'm like, we're friends now, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I don't drink at all.
Neither does Dan.
No, I don't drink.
I'll drink for the three of us.
That'll do, mate. That'll do. Coffee and tea. That's my thing.
Mm.
That's I'm pretty boring, really. But no, I think it's it's been 2 hours and 20 minutes we've been on this.
Oh damn.
I think, yeah, man, it's been an honor. It's like this. I had like so much I wanted to ask you about, like podcasting and stuff, but like, to be honest, it's like the perseverance and the discipline that you guys have had to keep going and like putting it, because you're releasing episodes like pretty much every week, like really,
every single Friday for 6.5 years, never missed a day.
That's insane. Like the discipline for that is like insane, because I generally go like 2-3 weeks where I mean, at one point I was doing one every week, but I kind of like, I'm trying to take mine on the road a bit. Like I get into people's garages, workshops, studios. So I figured that like really that's kind of where I'd rather not try and get so many episodes out, but rather try and make it a bit more sat in the same room as the guys, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Try and make it a little bit more like, I don't know, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to get it out every week, man. I mean, like, especially I don't do a lot of solo stuff, so lots of organizing with guests. I love it. It's a breath of fresh air just doing me and Dan, for sure, because Dan just shows up and we talk motorcycles and bullshit. But yeah, dude, the logistics of it, especially like, dude, like this week my fucking boiler exploded. I got like wife's going in for surgery, like fucking I got a million things going on right now, and still gotta get it out. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's not a question of if it will get out. It will get out. I'll get something out. You know what I mean? And we've had to re-record twice in 1 week, like multiple times, like technical difficulties. Yeah, it's a grind. It's definitely hard, but Gunner on the run, gas station beers, dude. Fucking A, dude. Nothing. I love nothing more than a gas station beer on a long ride. Everybody's getting in there, getting hydrated, drinking their water, and I'm just like,
yeah. You and Lex are in one corner pounding fucking beers. I'm in another corner pounding smokes.
Yeah, as long as you have enough sober people around. And by the way, I am against drunk driving. Do not drink and drive. Do not be drunk and drive, but drink and drive. That's okay. It's okay. I'm old school like that. It's okay to have a beer on your way home from work. You know what I mean? Don't be so shit-faced that you're killing people. Yeah. Definitely against that. Just
like, so basically, as long as you can get the ignition in the barrel on the first go, you're good to go.
I'm okay with casual crimes. You know what I mean? Casual crimes, things that are fun.
Yeah.
Like having a beer on your way home from work. You deserve it, dude. You're a hardworking guy. Don't drink and drive where you're blacked out and you're covering up one eye because you can't see straight. Don't do that. That is wrong. Yeah. You're gonna hurt someone.
So like McDonald's, can you buy like a Big Mac meal and a lager as well?
No,
like,
beer.
Do they sell alcohol? No. See, in Spain they do. Like, you can get a Big Mac meal and a fucking lager, like, and sit down in McDonald's and drink it.
That's cool.
I'd go to McDonald's more often.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely would.
The kids love McDonald's. I'm like, what do you want to eat? Anything in the world. They're like, McDonald's. I'm like, that's trash.
Yeah.
That's like the worst food in the world. Ugh. But if there was beer there, I'd be like, yeah, let's go get one.
It's
get
the
one.
Same
Can you get them in the drive-thru? A to-go cup?
You can get alcohol to go through a drive-in window in New Jersey. You literally drive up to a window and you're like, I'll take a 6-pack of Coors. And they're like, all right, here you go. That'll be
okay. Whatever. I know, like in Florida, they have the drive-through liquor stores I used to go to.
Yeah.
They say, don't crack that until you're out of here, though.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, give me a fifth of blueberry vodka.
You're there like...
Yeah. During COVID, there was actually some places around here. I don't know how legally they got around it.
You do to-go cups at the restaurant.
Yeah, it was a stiffy and a sippy. Like, you got a to-go cup and they put just a red tape. It's like what they use for piss tests or whatever. They
did do that. I remember doing that.
And they put the red tape over it so you could tell if it was tampered with or whatever.
Yeah, I forgot.
You go get a fucking Mai Tai or whatever from the Chinese joint and then bring it home with you. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. I think I did that.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. If they had Uber Eats for booze, you'd be.
They do in some
stalker.
areas. Like I used to travel a lot for work, and I was in like working in the Dallas area, and they have, I forget what it's called, but yeah, they deliver booze to your house. Because my manager at the time, she was like a VP, total lush. And then she'd be like, we'd be at the hotel, and I'm like, all right, we're out of booze, you know, like the hotel bar is closed. What are we gonna do? And she'd just be like, dude, it was like speed dial, you know, like boop 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 boop.
No
And then like,
shit.
yeah,
That's cool. They need to do that for weed around here. I know they do that in Boston. They have Uber Eats for marijuana in Boston, which is super sick.
yeah, they need to deliver, just delivery drugs, delivery booze.
Fuck yeah. I don't want to leave my house ever. I don't shop in person. I don't go to stores. Like I'll go to Walmart, I'll go to O'Reilly's or whatever, but I'm not going to Kohl's to buy myself new shirts. I'm just ordering some shit online.
Yeah, dude. What are you gonna go try them on in the dressing room?
Yeah, I don't want to go to a store.
grown.
I don't want to talk to people that I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah, nope. I'll do everything digitally. I'm less slut for Amazon.
It's too easy.
Yeah. That's it. And it's I think sometimes also there's something pretty cool about like going out and doing like old fashioned things. You know, like it's all right, like it's cool, like ordering shit online and that. But like, I think that if you don't use it, we're gonna lose it. You know, like kind of going into I think it's obviously just trying to find a balance in it. It's easy to like become recluse and like not want to interact with people, and like people aren't buying magazines anymore, and well, especially in the UK, like it's something like old-fashioned analog, like actually physically doing shit, like picking up a magazine and looking at bikes and tattoo magazines. And you know, it's I suppose like you can't have both, can you? You know, it's one or the other, I suppose. And
the thing is too, like I'm a mobile aerial lift mechanic for work, so I'm traveling all over the place. So I get plenty of like, I'm meeting people every day and I'm going different places every day and stuff. So when I'm not at work, I'm like, dude, I don't want to leave my 1/10 of an acre. I just want to stay here. You bring the pizza to me. I don't want to leave again and go get pizza.
I'm the opposite. Yeah, I work from home, so I'm like, I haven't left the house in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
So you kind of come out like,
yeah,
you know, well, that's
I don't mind going. I gotta, you know, it's funny you mentioned O'Reilly's though, because it's like they're better than Amazon when it comes to like, if you have a car that's broken and you need a weird part to fix it, it's amazing what they stock.
Yeah,
you know?
for real.
Like I've been doing brakes, and like I'll break like the caliper bracket, and I'll be like, yeah, I need a caliper bracket for a 2011 Subaru Forester, and they're like, we have one in stock, and I'm like, how big is this fucking building?
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, but it's better than Amazon because you get it right fucking then when you're doing the goddamn job, you know.
Sure. Yeah,
like Amazon's great if you like clothes, if you
not interested. I don't want to do that in person. I'd rather return the thing that I got that was too big.
I order all my clothes on fucking motorcycle sites. When I check out, they go, hey, do you want a new t-shirt for 20% off? I go, okay, whatever.
Oh, for t-shirts, I do MC Shop Tees, Danger Dan's thing.
Oh, you do that?
Oh, yeah, I have for a long time. It's so sick. Once a month, you get a t-shirt. It's curated artwork.
Did you get the Arrow one?
Yeah, I did. It's so sick.
He did such a good job.
So he finds what he does. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but he'll find little shops and shit, and he'll feature them. So it's this month's featured bike shop or whatever. And then they have someone make the artwork for it. They send you a t-shirt and like a postcard. Once a month, you get a motorcycle, usually chopper related t-shirt every month. They're different colors and whatever else. So
it's like $25 a month.
I think it's like $25 a month. You can get it for your children. They do it in children's sizes and stuff. It's really cool.
That's cool.
Pretty rad. And
Dan's podcast is cool as fuck as well, isn't it? Like like even I listen to Dan's podcast and like, well, listen, because obviously he's massively involved in is it the Born Free show?
Yeah.
Is it Born Free? Yeah.
He has such cool ideas. Like, did you hear about that? The CeeLo Scramble that he organized?
No, I don't think so.
So CeeLo, are you familiar with the game CeeLo? At least the dice game?
Oh yeah. They take dice to a lot of shows and they start playing dice. Yeah.
So this time, I think it was Born Free Texas last year. He got with like a bunch of like really high level builders and said, hey, I want you to build a bike for the show, but this is how we're going to do it. And they played CeeLo for the motorcycles, for the custom built choppers. So everybody went in there and put up a custom bike and walked away with a different bike. That's fucking crazy, but that's such a sick idea.
Let's steal it.
I think I did listen because he I can't remember which shot. I listened to something about where he's playing dice next to the bikes, and then like for me, one of the craziest things is like when he's saying about playing, because he's part of a band as well, I think, and he's playing with a band in the middle of the wall in the middle of the wall of death. It's like fucking insane, like in the in that fuck or on top of it or something he said, and it's like fucking cool as fuck, man.
Yeah, dude, that guy's life is awesome.
That's bucket list shit for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he deserves it all, though. I remember listening to him way back in the day when he first came out. You know? Like that dude's about it
for sure.
It's a good one.
Yep.
So what? So for somebody like me, for somebody like me who's like obviously minute numbers into a podcast compared to like yours and like Dan's and that, like what's one of the secrets to it? Like, what would you like if you're going to give advice to somebody that's fancy starting a podcast for whatever reason? Like, what would you say?
I really do think that consistency is the key. Like, everybody can anticipate Friday morning they will have a Low Life podcast, and they tune into it. You know, and all the podcasts that I listen to religiously, they have a day where they drop in a time, and it's always there. So you rely on it. And if you have 20 podcasts that you listen to this one on Monday, you listen to this one on Tuesday, you listen to this one on Friday, or whatever it is. And I'm a big podcast guy. Like, I don't listen to music in the garage. I usually listen to podcasts. I have my podcast that I listen to, and they come out on a certain day. So I think consistency is the biggest thing. And then the other thing is probably just make it fun. You know what I mean? Like, don't get too heavy. Like, people are listening to you for entertainment. So, like, keep it funny and silly and weird, and don't get too fucking serious about it, because, dude, everywhere you go, it's serious, you know, like you turn on news, it's serious. You put on fucking, everybody's so serious, you know, like you want to escape from that thing. So, like, be silly and be fun and have, you know, like have people on your podcast that are interesting or funny or something. And that's the thing, is you never know if your guest is going to be funny or serious or interesting, but just keep at it, keep grinding away. Just every Friday, some shows suck, some don't. Right. Just keep on fucking doing it.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, for me, selfishly, I get a lot out of it because I get to meet a lot of people and talk to a lot of people, and a lot of the cool stuff that happens is off air. And like when you're an interviewer on a podcast, you're kind of like instantly friends, you know. And then once you talk to them and see them in person, and you're like, you already have that connection. But it's the other thing, I guess the third thing I'll say is it's really important to some people, you know, like it was important to me. And part of the reason I became a part of the podcast and why I'm keeping it going was it was so important to me. Every Friday, I had those guys that made me feel like I had friends in the garage with me, you know, that had similar interests. And like there's something, I don't know, I think it's important it's almost like a public service, you know, like to get people that are on the fringe, that are uncomfortable, or like to bring them in. That's what I get out of it, is like when people hit me up and they're like, great episode, cheered me up, or hey, I really like this part, or you know, like, hey man, I'm going through a real dark time, and it's like you feel like you're actually helping people, and it's worth all the other fucking bullshit that I'd rather not do in my life. But I get so much more out of it than I put in that it's worth it to me. But I would say, like, my advice to you would be, if you can't do every week, do every other week, but be consistent about it, because people won't, if you come out on a Wednesday and then a Monday and then 4 weeks go by and then a Thursday, it doesn't turn into a habit, you know, like people like that. And I like that with my podcast, and podcasts that I listen to that just come out fucking willy nilly. I can't track it. I'm not like that dedicated to it.
Right.
So,
well, it's also,
it's
the the consistency keeps you in relevancy too. You know what I mean? It keeps you in people's minds or whatever. Even if it's you put out a podcast once a month, make sure it's that once a month. I mean, that kind of deal. If you're not staying relevant, if you're not putting stuff out, it almost doesn't matter the quality of the content. If you're not putting out enough of it, also people will forget about you in the meantime. You know what I mean?
And it's also like anything you do in your life, right? So like if you're like, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to get in shape. If you don't stick to a schedule, then you lose it. You know, like if you're like, I'm going to have it, I'm going to, you know, like, oh, my cheat day is on Saturday. And then some nice meal comes up on Sunday and you're like, I'm going to cheat again, you know?
Yeah.
You're off the diet.
Right.
And then it turns into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So like consistency, I think, is probably the biggest part of it. And then the other thing is like, just be authentic, you know, just be yourself.
Be yourself for sure. Don't be two different people, because people will pick up on it, because you'll start to do the podcast and then people will start to follow your podcast, and then people will start to meet you because they're following your podcast, and you'll be at an event or whatever. And they'll be like, he was totally fucking different. I met him in person. He was like quiet and shy or whatever. And it's counter to how you are on the podcast all the time. People pick up on that and they're like, he's putting on a show. You know, it becomes,
if you're a fucking like me, I'd like to say that Dan and I are authentic and we don't try to, like, I'm not like, I'm the best bike builder in New England. I'm a fucking idiot. I suck at what I do, but I'm passionate about it. And the passion is the thing that keeps people in tuned, you know, because they're like, you don't have to be good at stuff to, you know, like I suck at most of what I do, you know, but at least I fucking doing something. And how many motherfuckers, you know, that don't shit?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like you work, you go to your work. Like, what are you into? You know, like, oh, you like a show on Netflix?
Yeah.
It's fucking boring, dude. You know, like if you're into something cool, those guys automatically, they have not just that thing in common with you, but 1,000 other things in common with you, because it's a certain type of person that's into this.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, dude, I don't like, if you're not about what I'm about, don't listen to the fucking show.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is like when we go to Ohio and we go to the fucking Shawshank prison, I'm going to meet other motherfuckers from Ohio that listen to the show that are about it. And they're going to be fucking, you know, crush beers, or we're going to give high fives. We're going to be doing some butt slaps or whatever. But you're going to meet people that are about the same fucking life that you want to live, where it's about integrity. It's about fucking grit. It's about being a fucking good friend, watching it. Yeah. You know, like all those other values that come along with custom motorcycle building. I haven't met one motherfucker that I disdain that hasn't already left the building. You know what I mean? Like there's some motherfuckers that are just like, I got a bad feeling about that motherfucker, and they're gone, because you can't hang if you don't belong, you know?
Yeah.
So
no,
I know this. All right. I'm getting on. I've already had 6 Modelos here, and it's only in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
But consistency is key. My advice would be consistency is key. People anticipate that shit, and they build it into their routine. You know, like I drop at midnight every Friday, and almost every Friday, unless I have some real fucked up shit going on. Some people listen to it at midnight. They're up.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're up and they're like, that's what I do. I'm driving a truck or whatever.
Exactly.
Or it's like I commute to work at 4 o'clock in the morning and it's available for me. That's what I do on my Friday. And I love it. You know, they look forward to it.
I always, every Friday, I get text messages at like 5:30, 6 a.m. of friends of mine that same thing. They wake up even earlier for me for work, and they're like, great episode, man. Or they commented like, oh, I did the same thing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. It's hard to do it. But do what you can commit to. If it's because Truth does it too. He doesn't do it every week. He does it like maybe every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But like getting it on a schedule, anticipate it, and then it's in your feed. Because again, people have fucking 1,000 podcasts in their feed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I hate to be this guy, but I gotta get out of here very, very shortly. I gotta wrap up.
It's no worries, man. It's no worries. I was about to say I was lucky enough to interview Truth as well, and a really cool guy as well.
He's the best.
Yeah, cool guy. He's massively into his Triumphs, isn't he? And well, as well as Harleys. But no, I will let you guys go. And thanks again for being on. And yeah, it's been awesome. It's great. I just like that. I like how it wanders off. Like, you know, we wouldn't have thought we'd be sat here talking about gun laws and guns and crazy shit that. But I think that's also what's important is that there is someone else behind just the bikes. You know, there is a family man, a guy that, you know, people that have other hobbies and, you know, other things in life. It's not just bikes only, like can't wander off. You know, I don't even have like a fucking list. Like people ask me, do you have a list of questions? I'm like, man, I just fucking wing it. Like I just literally just wing it and
make it organic.
I'll harass anyone. Yeah, man. I mean, I literally just, I mean, on Monday, I've got a podcast talking to an English cigar company. You know, they're importing cigars from Cuba and have their own brand. And like, again, I think it's really cool. It's very much related to the custom culture scene. You know, a lot of people like to smoke cigars as well. And I think, well, fuck it. Like, why not? You know, like, that's it. That's it. But yeah. Awesome, man. I'm gonna hit the end stream button, and I will. I appreciate you guys telling your story and like just listening to you shooting the shit. It's cool as fuck.
Yeah, dude, this is fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. Thank you so much for having us, man. This is awesome.
Thank you. I'll just hit the end stream button now.